Now you're listening to wrestling news that matters, from people you want to hear it from, deep from within the confines of the internet. Covering WWE like no one else, and covering TNA because no one else will. You are listening to the best in the world, Ring Rust Radio!
Brad Maddox.
I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning.
Episode of Ring Rust Radio, the best goddamn wrestling radio show on Spreaker, on the internet, in the whole goddamn universe, folks. Oh, I'm your host with the most on wood, looking fine, feeling fine, baby. Mike Chiari, Brandon Galvin here with me today.
What's wrong with you?
I'm feeling great, actually. I came back from vacation again. I
wish it was
realized
the first
something.
time I was hearing you today. Unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah. No, it's. I feel great. I'm doing this new thing where I take a bunch of vacation days. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's awesome.
I know somebody who does that.
Yeah.
You know him well.
Yeah, I know a few people like that. Brandon Galvin. How you doing, buddy?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't use any vacation days. He doesn't go anywhere.
I can't confirm or deny that.
I can. When was the last time you took a real vacation, BJ?
I can. The last time I took a real vacation?
Yeah, when was the last time you took 5 days off of
Last
work
year,
in a row
Philadelphia,
and
baby.
went to a destination that wasn't wrestling related?
Oh, not wrestling related.
Mm-hmm.
How are your streets filled with garbage right now, by the way?
Me?
Yeah, you.
My streets aren't filled with garbage, are they? No, they're good. I'm looking right out now. They're good.
The Philly
Oh,
streets
what
are.
happened?
What happened in Philly?
Guess that means you're not a real Philadelphian.
Oh, I'm from Philadelphia.
I don't know what he's talking about, but ooh.
It's like a massive story. The sanitation union is on strike. Like there's just fucking garbage in the streets of Philadelphia right
Mike,
now.
let me tell you something. I am from some of the whitest suburbs you've ever seen on Earth. Okay, I am fucking far, far away from Trash City. Okay, but I'm
I don't know what that has to do with white people, but okay.
It's socioeconomic, Mike.
There's a lot of white trash that I know of.
Whoa, dude. Whoa. But there is. You're right. It's not wrong. But it's a socioeconomic thing. I can explain that to you later in our new podcast called Getting Even.
I will not be there.
Yeah. Why does our podcast suck so much?
I know.
Wait till the end. It's got a whole
Reason
fucking
or person
4-hour
No.
podcast.
The
part
end
that
is
sucks
awesome.
at the end.
The end's
Stick around and be
incredible
like
until
dork
somebody
shit.
starts
If
talking
that was
stupid.
our podcast, we'd have a much better listenership.
What
That's
would
what
the
we
name
should
be?
have.
What would the
BG,
name
you
be?
and I, fucking 90s toy podcast.
That's what we should. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, that's totally original. And
This
something
podcast
people
has run its
clap
course.
for. BJ?
Yeah, this is a wrestling podcast. We're going to preview WWE and AEW and NXT because there's so much fucking going on in wrestling for some
I'm
reason.
not sure why they
July.
all picked the same weekend in the summer. All the weekends in the summer to have, and like we could have spread them out. We could have done one a weekend.
Nope.
It would be
All
one thing if
on
they
one
would promise not to do any more pay-per-views for like 2 months after
Nope.
that,
Nuh-uh.
so we can get them all
Nope.
the way. But
Nope. But we have Dirt Sheet Busters, hopefully. For Mike Carvin, that's the lies. I remember going on Pro Wrestling. Everybody fucking stupid. Donnie, you're fucking stupid.
Oh, was I stupid when I saved the Dirt Sheet Busters again this week?
were you stupid when you did what you're supposed to do? No.
No, I was. Excuse me, I was working. I was busy doing other things. I was being with my family.
All you had to
are
do
the
was
one-
just press record and walk away. That's
Yeah,
all
it's
we asked.
that easy, right?
Mhm.
So easy, even
Should
you
be.
should be able to do it, right?
Well,
But
my
you can't
recorder's
do it,
broken,
dude.
as you know.
But you
as
can't
we
do
had a
it, dude.
discussion of.
All
My
right,
recorder's broken.
Mike,
He can't do it, I won't do it, and Donnie has to do it. But
I
we also have
could.
the WWE Fantasy Standings Update, fan emails, and so much more.
Mike,
We're
you're
going to
on.
make up for last week's lost files.
We
Holy
sure
shit,
are.
it's a long file, dude. That's going to be the episode. We got to run
Yeah,
through this
learn
preview.
today.
Hurry
That's
up.
like Super Mario: The Lost Levels.
Yeah.
Ring Rust Radio: The Lost Files.
I don't know what any of that means. You want to say other words, please?
You don't know what that means?
Mario?
Yeah,
Mario.
It ain't Mario. This ain't
Mario.
Mario Lemieux, brother. It's Super Mario.
Same word, dude.
It's a me. It's a Mario.
It's a me. It's a Mario.
He does not say that, as you know. Anyways. Do you know how to pronounce Mario? Then you're a friend of mine, and I want you to check out Ring Rust Radio. Get us anywhere you get your podcast. Interact with us on Twitter at Ring Rust Radio. Email us, be part of the show. Send it to ringrustradio@gmail.com. Also, buy our merchandise, pearlsandtees.com/ringrustradio. So many great t-shirt designs, including Cut Your Dick! We are going to cut the dick out of our lives in the second half of the show this week. Just going to be me and BG. Loving life.
I might
Can't
lose
wait.
the fucking audio. You keep this shit up, dude. I'm the only thing standing between you and this. Also, fucking never being aired.
Don't you dare.
We got to give people something they actually
I swear to God, I know you guys spent so much time on that dumb shit email that I know for a fact you would come back next week and do it. Rogue.
It was a great email. Thanks,
Rogue.
Yeah, you're just releasing on a third-party platform.
Keep doing the same fucking email every week until
exactly like Groundhog's Day.
And you know what? We'd have more fun doing that than any time we've ever had in this fucking podcast.
I know.
100%.
Talking wrestling is the
asshole.
It's not me.
No, it's because of you.
Or it's at patreon.com/ringrusradio, where you can hear ad-free episodes, sign up for fantasy drafts and brackets, make us watch wrestling-related movies and pay-per-views, and so much more. Also, check out Ring Rust Radio on YouTube for updated clips and Triple R Gaming. Donnie, BG, and fans of the show have been playing different games like Schedule 1, Chained Together, Headliners, and Midnight Murder Club each week and posting early access on patreon.com/ringrustradio well before it hits YouTube. If you're interested in joining a session, email ringrustradio@gmail.com.
Yes, I'm gonna be doing October stuff. I'm gonna be doing scary Halloween stuff. So if you like scary games, please reach out and come play with me.
Like E.T.?
No, not like
the Atari.
E.T. No, it's not scary. Is that scary? Was that a scary game?
It's a scary bad game. It's considered like one of the worst of all time.
I have the Atari 2600. I think I have E.T. for it.
Even if you don't, it's probably on one of your emulators.
Not gonna play
it.
I'm gonna play a ton of Doom.
You
I'm playing a ton of Doom though.
Great
it
game.
was so bad that people just threw the company just threw thousands of copies of E.T. into landfills.
Damn.
It's a famous
Some
thing.
homeless dude is build his house out of any of those Atari bricks. That's wild, dude. All right, let's move on. Should we talk wrestling?
I guess so.
We're gonna put this all in order. From LW to Dark, we about to have a discussion about the one true sport. Who's selling the finish? Does this make sense in the art? Tell me who botched, who rocked, who's cashing in on the marks. These takes are uncut, man, they're pure and they're raw. Blow up like dynamite, have you smacked down on the floor. On a collision course with the number one source. Now let's head back to the ring for the latest report. Ring Rust.
Time to talk wrestling. Apparently, all the pay-per-views are happening this week. We have Great American Bash, All In. You're doing it in order of that they're supposed to appear? Is that what this is? In time-wise?
Yes. I mean, we realize All In could run through Monday, potentially, even though it starts on Saturday, but...
If there's a God
We're
in
going
heaven,
by start time.
If there's a God in heaven, the whole weekend will be filled. They should start Friday and just marathon it. What was it, 24 Hours of Le Mans?
Yeah, or it's or it'll be like the AC Slater when he had to save the Max and be on the radio for 24 hours straight.
The what happened?
You know what?
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
BG knows what I'm talking about.
Before we get to Saturday night's main event, XL. What is Vince back? Evolution is a throwaway Sunday pay-per-view. That's fun. I got to talk to you guys about something that actually is sad. Teddy Long's son died.
Oh, I saw that. He's not a wrestler, though, is he?
No, but it's Teddy Long's son. And
I did see that.
When I wrote it down, I wrote Teddy Long's song. Because it was so close to son, the G came natural.
Teddy Long's song died.
Right?
The song in his heart probably did die.
No. He will live on forever in his heart, but it is very sad. And you never wish that on anybody. He's very young, too, so sad. Just R.I.P. to him and sending our love and stuff, Teddy. Because I love Teddy Long. Teddy Long's great. That's it. And,
play on, playa.
Yeah, play on, playa. Also, R.I.P. to Undertaker's podcast. It sucks with his wife. It sucked before, but now it sucks with his wife.
Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
So I never really listened to it before. Mm-hmm. I did check out the episode last week because it had Braun Breaker on it. Braun Breaker guy here.
One of the worst ever.
I don't want to come across...
Say it. Say what you say. Say it. Say it with your chest. No one cares.
Michelle definitely makes it.
She's
bad.
awful. She's a charisma vacuum.
She
sucked as a wrestler.
She's chiming into these things that were that's not that's not where we're going with this right now. You're taking us in a direction we're not trying to go to.
Dude, it sucks. With that, at least the other dude kind of was like a general host. He'd step
I didn't know
back.
there was another dude.
Oh, well, when that podcast started as just a podcast, it was never on WWE. So he did
So
like...
they just had like a random podcast guy like doing the traffic, basically, of the whole thing?
It was a
Getting it
friend,
in the right
Undertaker knew the guy or something. He was a friend of like, the story of how they met is, shaky enough to where I won't say because I don't know for a fact. But he was at least good at, like you said, directing traffic. He was good at
That's
getting
what
the
he
most...
needs, I think.
Yes, that's exactly what he needs. Like and this dude was really good at it because they got some really good quotes in there. I remember how I saw. I didn't listen to that shit, but I saw tons of clips from it because they were really good at that kind of shit. Great with the marketing. What happens is Undertaker's like, dude, WWE should pay me to do this more, right? So boom, they pay him to do it more, and they're like, lose this loser, get Michelle McCool in here, and he's like, great idea, and then everybody in the world is like, bad idea, and we were right.
I feel like there was a couple times where like he was gonna start really talking about something like I was really excited to hear him talk about, and she would like say something and direct them like away from. I'm like, no, that's not how you do interviews.
Dude, he would go on these wild stories about the car rides and shit like that. And then when I listened to the one with Michelle McCool, he was like, yeah, I remember getting a pedicure. And it was like, dude, shut the fuck up. What happened to this shit? So
she would be better off
ruined.
Asking, why did you do this and why is it the right time?
She'd be better off fucking, getting the fuck out of my face with this dumb bullshit, if I'm honest with you. Shit sucks, and she ruined it. So R.I.P. to that show, too. Yeah. What happened? Who died?
Nothing. I just said, damn.
Damn. All right, well, let's listen. Let's get our dealer. I'm wasting no more time. So you got a 5-hour email coming up, so we better run through this real quick. Forget the wrestling. Let's get to your dumb shit fucking
It's
90s
an
bracket.
hour. Calm the fuck down.
It was an hour and 20 minutes, Mike.
No, that was
all that we did,
including dirt sheets. And
Mike, that's an hour. We need 40 minutes. We're already 21 minutes in. I need 11 minutes of content from 4 previews.
Don't you want content for the show that people can listen to?
Ready? 3, 2. D'Lo Brown head shakes. Ready? Great American Bash. All right, we're going to do Great American Bash first because it sucks. We're doing the worst first here, and then we're going to do the best second. That's a weird order, but thank you, BJ.
That's a really weird order. It's almost like that's not a thing. So
that's what I thought till BJ did this.
Okay.
So Great American Bash preview. Get your D'Lo Brown heads out. Loosen your necks. Crack your sternums.
So few matches announced.
It's okay. Shut the fuck up, dude. We're doing good. We're doing good. Don't worry, AEW make up for it.
This isn't even going to put a dent into All In. They're going to be going 8 hours. This is going to go an hour.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
That'd be awesome.
Obafemi against, it's so small, Yoshi Nakamura. Inamura.
No.
With Josh Briggs.
That sounded not great. Yoshiki Inamura.
With Josh Briggs for the NXT Championship. I got this weird feeling Obafemi's just going to retain.
Yeah, this is a waste of a match.
It's so weird.
No, it's not a waste of a match because it's going to be a
is.
banger, and you're going to like, wow,
No,
that
it's
was a
not.
fun match, but we knew the outcome, so it's fine.
Right,
I think the
so
match
that's
was pretty good. I'll be honest, though. I would rather it be Briggs against Obafemi.
Next. They got to build it
Yeah, I
out,
hope
buddy.
so. Right.
Because I can get behind that.
More
but-
I like Josh Briggs. I knew about Josh Briggs before
Yeah.
anybody else. I knew him on
Really?
Beyond
I saw him
Wrestling.
at an ESW show, brother.
Wow,
Yo,
I don't know
hey,
if you believe.
Mike, look at me. This fucking other dude, huh? Can't stick with us, brother. He can't
I also
stick
saw
with
Daniel
us.
Garcia, and I said Josh Briggs is better than Daniel Garcia, and I
Well,
was right.
We're not all right.
I was right. In fact. Obafemi wins.
Obafemi
Yeah,
wins.
no shit. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe against Fatal Influence. Tag team match. Should be happening on an episode of fucking NXT, not my pay-per-view. Faces
I don't
win.
mind this because the title match is happening the next night on Evolution, so you're setting the stage for that. That's fine.
Wow. Don't care. I'm over.
I think Jordan and Blake win.
Soul Rocka versus Izzy Dame.
What BG didn't pick.
We know what he's doing. The faces
Yeah,
win.
I mean, Blake Monroe is not going to lose her first
no
match.
shit.
Right,
no
I assume
shit,
she gets the
dude.
pinfall.
Izzy Dame is with Braun.
Braun.
She wins
Yeah.
because of that.
No, I'm going with Sol Ruka.
I think it's Sol Ruka because Sol just won that title.
Who's Soul
And
with?
she's going to be...
Oh, did
and
you
she's
hear
gonna
about
be at,
Kaiser?
Who was
with
Sol in a
fucking-
relationship with?
Yes, who's Soul in a relationship with?
I
one
think
other.
Tyler Bates. I'm not positive though.
Man, that dude is a fucking dog.
He's a
man.
baller.
He is. Tyler
Bate.
Bate. He's my favorite dude in all of wrestling. He's a fucking big,
He
strong
was with
boy.
Tony Storm and he was with Liv Morgan at one time.
Dude's a fucking ace, man. He's the true ace.
The ace.
Yes, go ahead. I forgot what I was going to say what else. It was horrible, I'm sure. Oh, we're done already. The shit sucks. Got it. Okay.
I think Sol Ruka wins.
I mean, she's going to be at Evolution in the tag team match, right? So I feel like she has
almost
to
like none of
win
this
here.
matters. Almost like none of this WWE stuff matters.
Well, they got
the
pretty good on the show.
NXT pay-per-view, I agree, does not really.
Saturday night's main event, this, and then fucking the Evolution. It's nothing matters.
Plenty matters on Saturday night's main event.
Nothing else matters. Okay, real quick. Did you hear about the scandalous DMs from fucking Kaiser to fucking Charlotte that got him broken up with? Wow. Did you see this?
Are you talking about made-up things?
Well, no, I swear to God, well, listen. Admittedly, it might have been at the bottom of another article, but just Google real quick, Kaiser, Charlotte. I think something happened there. We'll update you as we go on.
Wasn't it just that Charlotte said that he was in her DMs as like?
Well, no, I think it was
major
reality, and that they actually broke up because of it. Blam. Dude.
I don't think they broke up. I typed in Ludwig Kaiser Charlotte, and there's like no recent like stories or anything.
Let
It's
me
all
help
from
you out.
Just
April.
heard the promo.
Let me hook
Yeah,
you
it's
up.
all from April when they were doing that promo.
I'm just trying to catch up, dude. I'm just trying to get caught up.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
well,
a cooker.
Okay, All In preview, guys. This is where the money's made. This is the show I've been looking forward to. I was gonna say all summer, but really all my life. I've been looking forward to this kind of show. I've been looking for this show all my life, dude. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say, it is true. I cannot wait for Texas All In. It's gonna go all night. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make WWE look small downstairs. It's a big show. It's a big show.
Dude,
So
if it goes into Saturday night's main event, that's actually pathetic.
no, fuck no. It's definitely going in. No, fuck that. It's pathetic that
how
WWE
is
tried to
this gonna
counter
make
program.
WWE look small? Like WrestleMania did like 3 times the attendance this is gonna do.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
So
They're the
doesn't make
second
any
biggest company. They're making it from their perspective. They're doing unbelievably successful.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
But they're number 2 by a large
Sure,
margin.
okay,
They're not gonna
that's
do
cool.
anything that would make
And
WWE
yeah,
look
guess
small.
what? Pepsi is a really successful company. Coca-Cola is the number 1. That's okay.
Okay.
Mr. fucking CM Brooks
I
over here, he
would
fucking
suggest
loves
there's a
Pepsi.
much larger margin between WWE and AEW
Absolutely.
That's very stupid.
than Coke and Pepsi.
You're very stupid for that.
You're stupid.
All right, let's start at the bottom here because I want to save the fucking main event shit for kisses. Hurt Syndicate,
For kisses?
Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin against Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey against the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, and Nick Wayne.
Remember when they used to have real tag teams in AEW?
What do you mean, Dave? What do you mean?
Jet
What do you mean?
Speed. That's not a real team. They
Fuck,
just
it's
threw that
not.
one together.
Speedball and
Jet
fucking
Speed.
Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is awesome, and Speedball Mike Bailey is awesome. There's a great tag team. And
I'm not
honestly,
saying anything about that. I'm just saying that that's just a random thrown together team.
First off,
Like,
they
used
have
to tell
tag
us-
teams.
they
They're
used to tell us, like,
main
AEW was
event
the place for
storylines.
Tag team wrestling.
FTR is doing main event shit, buddy. Sorry, they're not involved with the championship. They don't need it.
Not involved in the pay-per-view.
Well, we're working on something else there. If you've been watching,
Gotcha,
if you've been watching television on a week to week basis, you're seeing what's going on.
What are they going to do on All In?
Probably not be there. That's okay. They don't have to. They're not done the storyline. They're not ready for that payoff yet. But you want another match on here?
I don't, but
Then
they're
they're not ready for a
match.
match. They're not
They
ready
will
for a
be.
match. Go ahead. Well, if they put it on here, we'd be too lucky.
I'm going with the Hurt Syndicate.
Adam Cole versus. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm gonna go with. I'm
I
going.
kind of think the Patriarchy, to be honest.
They've been having Nick Wayne get slapped a bunch, which usually means something's gonna happen there. But I'm gonna say Jet Speed because Mike hates on him.
I don't hate them. It's just they're thrown together teams.
Well, now they're gonna be legitimate because they won a championship. Duh.
Remember Private
Yeah.
Party?
Yeah, they're probably gonna leave.
Yeah.
The one dude had a lot of injuries though. He had a concussion or something that he's been having problems with. So.
Okay, well, they
Cautious.
won the titles, dropped them to Hurt Syndicate, and then got shipped off to Guantanamo Bay to serve out the
I
rest
thought I
of their
just said
sentence.
dude had an injury, so that's okay.
Not after that.
That
I don't
doesn't
think.
that doesn't fit your fucking thing, does it? Huh?
I don't think he's
Okay.
been injured. since
Adam
then.
Cole versus Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. My God, Adam
Kyle
Cole
Fletcher.
on the way back to the
Kyle
top,
Fletcher
baby.
actually just wins.
No, Adam Cole retains.
I don't
Kyle
think
Fletcher.
so. I think Adam Cole is gonna kind of get dangerously into the territory of just, like in Tony's mind at least, because he was injured for so long and stuff like that. Like people just passing him by to the point where he's kind of like a lower mid carder for him.
Well,
I think we're getting
it's
to that
already
point.
At that point.
Because do you really think that he's gonna put Adam Cole above Hangman, Mox, Okada, Omega, Swerve.
I think right now
Ospreay.
you're seeing the revitalization of Adam Cole on AEW programming. Yes.
That would be
I think
nice,
it's going
but
to
I
take
don't
some
think
time.
so.
It may take. He's not going to win a world title within the next 200 days. But I could see him by the end of this time in 26. I see the belt jockeying a bit here, and I see Cole getting the world championship in 26. Yes.
I don't see that at all.
Oh, I think you're wrong. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay against the Young Bucks. God, I could not be harder for this.
Melts?
What? You're not excited about this?
I'm not particularly excited
Bucks
for anything
match?
that the Young Bucks are involved
Well,
in.
well, remember.
Know your audience.
No, if the face.
It's also a terrible stipulation.
The Young Bucks are no longer EVPs. They're out the door
Who
on it. Dude.
cares?
That's
Who
a
could
big.
possibly care about
Here's the
that?
deal. That's a big deal because they were executive vice president of the company. That was the allure of going to
I'm fully
AEW
aware.
or WWE.
I don't know if you know this, but if
they
they
barely
lose,
do
they're
anything.
actually still gonna be the EVPs of the company.
You don't know
That's
that, dude.
crazy.
Yes, I do know
Eric Bischoff booked MLW, and
No,
they
he
are going to be.
didn't.
They're going to
We
be
went
done.
over
Dude,
this.
they're done, dude. You don't fucking know that. Goldberg's winning.
Swerve and Ospreay are obviously winning because they're not gonna keep both of them out of the title scene for a year.
Yes.
Because they already got backlash for the whole shitty Cody storyline that they did where he could never challenge for the world title. And the Young Bucks being EVP is just a made up fucking thing for TV that they're going to take away, and they're still going to be the actual EVPs. So, okay. Who cares?
It's not who cares. It's not. It's much.
It
more
is who
than
cares. Like, if you
Much
give me
more
some
than-
actual stakes to this match, maybe I would care.
Dude, this is like fucking prime beef steak here, brother. You're fucking missing it. It sucks for you though.
Why do
Who's
Young Bucks care if Swerve and Ospreay challenge for the championship if they were a tag team?
They're not a tag team. They were
Young
forced.
Bucks
They
are
were
a tag
forced.
team.
Bedfellows.
No, I'm
They were
saying
for
if the
because
Young
they want
Bucks
to
are
take
a
them
tag
down.
team, why do
They don't
care.
They're AVPs. They don't like the direction the company's going with these two fucking do-gooders at the top.
They don't like how Ospreay gets fucking 7 stars every time he has a match for no
Yeah,
reason.
they're jealous. Honestly, he literally mentioned Dave Meltzer, so I knew you were going to hate that.
How could I not?
Women's Casino Gauntlet match. Who wins it?
I'm gonna say this could be dumb on my part thinking that Tony would do something with her and position her in a way, but I'm gonna say Athena because it's in Texas, home state. She was kind of advertised and like made part of like the promotional, tour before All In, and then kind of like fell off and has not been mentioned as part of the show. But I feel like her winning would make sense because you can transition her from ROH to AEW, which should have been done long ago, and she already has the built-in rivalry with Mercedes, who's obviously going to be winning. So you could set up a rematch between Athena and Mercedes potentially.
That's cute. Chris Statlander. BJ?
That was my second choice, to be honest with you.
There's three options. Actually, there's four. You could do Willow, and get that. That's how you get the Mercedes there again. Or Tony shows some balls, and we get Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné again.
No,
I
we
like
do
this.
not
I
need
said
that
that.
again. Wait, you're picking Britt Baker?
Yep.
Oh my god. What about Megan Bain? Does she exist still or nah?
I don't know what happened there.
Did he get over her as
Well,
quick as he got over Camille?
I will say, Camille apparently it's not happening.
I said that
We're
was
not
going to
talking-
happen, by the way.
Well, Megan Bain has actually been in at least squash matches where they're still putting her over as she's rising through the rankings in theorem. You know what I mean?
Is there going to be like any surprise entrance or anything like
Yeah,
that?
of course, dude. Serena Deeb.
Sheeta? Could Sheeta come back?
Yeah.
She hasn't been on in a long time.
Well, I think you'll probably get some of the Japanese ladies flying over to have a good time.
It's going to be like a debut
Rio?
of some kind?
Anybody?
Rio? Is Rio still in wrestling? I haven't seen her in a long time.
I don't know. Is the free agency market is nada with two
It's a
companies.
little bare these days.
Yeah. I mean, there's talented people out there, but they're going to take time to develop. There's no prime star-ready people anymore.
Oh, Tegan Knox or somebody like that? Because
Maybe.
she's...
What about
What's the girl?
what was the
Dakota
girl from
Kai.
NXT?
Dakota
Oh,
Kai.
Not
Isla
her,
Dawn?
the other one. No, not her. The other one.
Oh,
She was dating Braun Breaker.
Cora
Cora
Jade.
Jade? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that's a
Cora
good one.
Jade.
There you go. What's her name now?
Yeah, what's her name?
Elena Black?
Elena Black.
There you go.
Yeah,
I knew you know it.
I knew it, you pervert. How about the men's? How about the men's gauntlet? What are we doing here?
I mean, it feels obvious to me. Well, actually,
Say the two
Yeah, I'm
names.
gonna go-
Say the two names.
MJF, I think.
And what's the other one? I want to hear your guts on this because I got two names.
Mark Briscoe?
No, I did not have Mark Briscoe. I like it though. I legitimately like it. But I thought someone like Bobby Lashley comes in and he's the one who costs MJF.
Why would I think? Oh, I
Is
thought you
Darby
were
Allin
saying
ready?
that Bobby Lashley would win.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, he could.
Well, who's the other choice then?
Is Darby Allin ready?
It would be Darby Allin, yes. But I thought.
Well, I don't
Bobby
think
Lashley...
Darby Allin. Okay, that's possible because maybe Darby returns and wins that, and then he like shows up after Mox wins and like confronts Mox kind of thing.
He's literally saying,
okay.
"I'm
I can
next.
see Darby.
I'm standing in your way."
Yeah. I'm just changing my pick
I'll
to
say
Darby.
Ricochet.
I'm changing my pick to Darby because it actually fits with what my narrative is for this pay-per-view.
There you go. I'm going with Ricochet.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I like him. He's been super fun. He's like leaning into being a dork, and I think that's fun. That's really good. Okada Omega. Now I'm gonna just let me get in here for a second. Let me slide into your DMs real quick. Take Dave out of this equation for a second. Just talk to me like adults, okay? Those matches, while you guys, you're with your finishes, you have a specific way of protecting finishes that they do not do in Japan that bothers both of you, right? We all acknowledged at the time that these series of matches between these guys were incredible. Like they put on a fucking show and a half. Awesome. And you know, it may not be your exact style, but for this style, it was perfection nearly. I don't think we're gonna.
AJ was better, but...
I'm not gonna say. There's a tinge of truth in a lot of the things you say, but we have a different style too. You know what I mean?
I kind of agree with you, PG.
But here's the deal. I don't think Omega and Okada will live up to that hype. But man, there's no doubt they're gonna put on a fucking banger and a half. So I'm ready for it, and they're gonna lose a belt, which is great too. So please.
It's gonna be a match of the night.
Yeah, I agree.
It should be.
I'm going with Okada actually.
I'm going Omega.
I'm going Omega too.
I feel like it's just too obvious to have it with Omega.
I think
that
you need
like, because Omega, he's been hurt for so often over the last few years that he hasn't had like a huge win like that in a long time.
Yeah, honestly, he hasn't had a huge match like this in a long time.
Right.
And like I said, it was the whole Bow thing that he had. It was like almost 2 years total that he's been on the sidelines out of main storylines. So if you're going to do this and he wins this, he's back in the main event scene. Hey, you know what? We've been saying Darby Allin. Maybe it's Omega that takes it from Moxley. Revisit that. Make shit blow up for real this time. Come on, dude. Okay.
And if Omega wins, then they could have him and Ibushi like celebrate together and rub up on each other.
That's what they like.
You know what? Omega should win. He's now the AEW Unified Champion. He goes against Moxley for the AEW World Championship, and they unify that.
The Unified World Championship.
I gotta tell you, I'm fine with that because that's less titles.
Unify all the championships.
Yep.
Okay, so John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page.
I'm sticking with Adam Page, as I said all along.
And I'm going.
I think every Moxley match is essentially a Texas death match, anyways.
It's the thing. It's what Terry Funk used to say about his hardcore matches. He said, "I'd walk in, they wanted me to do a hardcore match, and they're like, 'What do you want the stipulation to be?' He's like, 'Pick the name of the city and the toughest thing the city's known for.'" It's like that's why. That's just what That's just what they would do. Like the bunkhouse brawls and shit like that. They were Dallas bunkhouse brawls or something like that. So.
I like it.
That's just simple. Listen, Moxley's got again, just like Omega and Okada have a style that you may or may not like. Moxley's got a style that you may or may not like. I, in particular, love it. So I love Adam Page because he can adapt to a lot of different styles, but he works a fine art in violence. So please, I will take 2 helpings of this. Thank you.
How many cinder blocks are destroyed in this match?
I think they go off. No, I think they're doing something different.
How many tacks are used?
A lot of tacks. I still think there'll be a lot of tacks. Yeah. I think there will be some sort of branding iron, some sort of ultra violence in this. That's going to be So Texas Death. I'm thinking of horses.
Around the tongue.
I'm thinking. What are the things that go on the heels of your boots?
Spurs.
Spurs right in the dick.
Gonna spur them up.
Right in the dick. You know what I mean? I think that's for sure. What else? Like a horse collar or something like that. So,
horse collar?
Yeah.
Horse collar. Yeah.
You know the things
Like
that go around
like
the
the
necks?
tackle?
Yeah. Like the thing
Muzzle?
that, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, now I think we're going weird. It's just
that got weird.
this is a BDSM match.
A horse will come out and just fucking buck kick him in the
Well,
face.
Paige should ride out on a horse for sure.
Oh my god.
I have to assume he will.
That is his
And then
ATV.
the horse kicks Moxley in the face.
Are you saying horse or whores?
Horse.
Does it matter?
Okay. Riding the horse down to the ring. I think it does matter, Mike. Actually, now we said it out loud like that, it's a big difference. Listen, as much as from the bottom of my heart, homegrown guys, Adam Page, I think, is my favorite guy they have, right? He's just, I love him a lot. I just don't think they're letting Mox take the title here.
I'm picking
Wait, what did you
Mox.
say?
I don't think they're letting him take the title from Mox here. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Darby Allin has always been the guy. I just feel like the whole Sting thing was to get Darby there. The injury and then Mount Everest fucked up the timing, but he's like, we're doing it no matter what.
I've said Mox the whole time because I agree that I think that the way they're presenting it, it was always going to be Darby, and then he decided I want to climb a fucking mountain, and that like
Not
totally
just climb
messed
a
up their
mountain, just
timeline.
climb the mountain.
I want to climb the mountain, and that messed up their entire timeline.
Which is cool as shit.
So-
Just let's. If you're like,
getting
listen,
to-
I got to pause ring rust for a couple weeks. I'm going to go scale Mount Everest. I'd be like, go ahead, enjoy. That sounds
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
wouldn't ask for
selfish.
your permission, first of all. Second of all,
I would.
I think that
require
Mox
it as your
wins, and I
employer.
think the fans will not like that, but I think that their attempt to get them back will be like Darby confronts him afterwards.
Yeah. And I think
to
it's
set up
going to
that
work.
match.
I think people are so tired of Mox and this heel run, right? Which is good. You got it. Sometimes you hold on to it a little bit long just to make sure people don't like it, and then here's your saving grace in Darby Allin. Because I like
Do
what
you
Mox
think
is
this
doing.
main event's?
I do, yes.
Yeah, I do.
If Mox is winning, I'm saying no, and it should be Mercedes and Tony. But with that said, this is Tony Connor's talking about, and he will not allow a woman to main event.
Well, I think
to my knowledge.
well. Here's the thing. He always said the men's world championship was the most important title in the company. It will always main event.
It's a pretty
So,
bad thing to say.
I mean, it is what it is, dude.
It's
Listen,
incredibly
let me
sexist.
tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Don't.
Let me tell you something, okay?
Don't tell us anything,
Tell
to be
you
honest.
something, dude. Nah, I'll save it.
I mean, I don't
Thank
think
you.
there's really any doubt. I would say, to me, Mercedes and Tony are bigger stars and draws right now than Mox and Hangman are. Right now, today.
I would say that most people are there to see the women's main event.
I agree.
I think listen, I'm telling you right now, if you're asking me, Donnie, who do I believe should be in the main event? 100% the women. If you're getting a world title change and you're getting fucking Tony Storm losing and your Mercedes Moné fucking Ultimo Dragon style shit, that's your main event without a fucking shadow of a
Should
doubt.
be.
But
I'm
Tony,
gonna
to
put my
Tony's credit,
confidence in Tony Khan
no,
for no reason.
no,
and
you're
say
wrong.
do that.
But here, Mike, I'm going to save you the time. Stick on the hate side. It's fine. You're welcome on that side. The truth is, he has said many times in the past that world title is the main event. It is the main event. It's what makes it so important.
Well, here's the beauty of it.
And I just think that I just think that Darby Allin standing toe to toe with Mox is the ending of the show.
If I choose the women to main event and say that they should, and they don't, then that can further fuel my hatred. So it's just a
Well, now
win-win.
you just aired your agenda. You just laid out all the parts for everybody to see, and they see your phony baloney for that.
Well, there's nothing funny about it. I'm saying they should main event. That's the fact.
Yeah, but he's also a man of his word. He said this championship is
he?
the most important championship in the company. Always has been since 2019.
Huh.
Even the day Jericho left it at that Longhorn, it was still the most important championship in all of wrestling.
Where's Jericho? Is he going to WWE?
Nah, he's just relaxing for a while. He's looking good though.
Okay.
He said he doesn't even lift weights anymore. Looking good. And Timeless Tony Storm, her promos have been incredible, and that's why I'm convinced she's losing. Because she is acting her ass off. She's balls in saying how she's gonna. What was the line? You're gonna. All I have to do is pin you. You're gonna have to kill me. And I love that line. That line was fucking incredible. So I very much.
But
think,
she's going to beat her and not kill her, though.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Heel. So someone in wrestling not filling in what they said they're gonna do. How many people who could have been dead in wrestling? I'll kill you, motherfucker.
There's a 0% chance anything other than Mercedes winning occurs here.
Yes.
Yeah, Mercedes wins.
Mm-hmm.
As it should be. I'm fine with this story. You've done a really good job with all of this. And honestly, the payoff for me is, I know, Mike, I know you're going to be mad at me, but I got to tell you, the payoff shouldn't be a new star. It should be Toni Storm. I want to see Toni Storm get the title back. I want to see Toni Storm with the title.
I totally disagree with that.
I know you do. And I know 9 out of 10
she
times,
can get it
buddy,
back eventually.
I know,
but
buddy.
Look
Look at me. 9 out of 10 times. 99 out of 100 times, dude. I agree with you. I'm all here, dude. That's a spot for someone who needs it. But you know what? Timeless Toni Storm is doing things in the women's division that no one in WWE is doing, man. I don't care about anybody in WWE's women's division as much as I care about Timeless Toni Storm, and I have for a long time. So I just gotta tell you, I want her on top as long as humanly possible. She is my Roman Reigns. Do you understand that?
Yep.
She is my Roman Reigns, and I want her, and that's the storyline near the fucking top. Guess what I just did? Guess what I just did? I threw up the 1 for Toni Storm. That's the I in Toni I'm throwing up.
See, I agree
you gotta
about
do it like
Toni.
on period with your finger. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
don't do anything on my period.
Ooh.
Let's do it.
I agree with Donnie about Toni being the one to eventually take down Mercedes Moné, because she is the big star in your company. And
She is, but she's made a million times over, and they never make anybody else.
Sure, but if she loses this match, loses the championship, now Mercedes has everything. To me, and that's what I want to see. I've always been someone who really enjoys someone having all the gold, whether it's a stable or one person, and when they did it in TNA with Bobby Lashley. I love that stuff. So I want to see Mercedes win the championship. Now she has everything. And what I would then like to see is Toni Storm in this gimmick where it allows her so much creativity. She's the one who, over the course of could be a year, she's the one masterminding every single time Mercedes now loses a championship, and eventually the only one remaining is the Women's World Championship that she then takes back.
Oh, so she puts over a bunch of different people on the road to finally putting Toni back over.
Yes.
I love that.
We gotta be realistic.
That's fucking, BJ, listen. You say some dumbass shit. You say some really irrelevant shit on this show a lot, right? Like, I barely listen to you. You just said some shit that might be the smartest shit you ever said in your life, and I am proud of you.
I'm not gonna say anything that he said was dumb, because it's a good idea in theory. I'm just saying it's maybe you're fooling yourself a little bit if you think she's gonna put over like 5 people in a row.
Why?
Well, she
doesn't care.
The championships.
She doesn't give a shit. She's winning all these championships. She understands the character. You might give up people. She's a smart wrestling mind, dude. Are you comparing her to Hulk Hogan or something here?
I'm not comparing her to Hulk Hogan, but I'm just saying, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, you think she just is champion of all these companies forever?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more likely she puts all the titles on the line in one match and loses them all in one loss, and then. Besides the AEW women's title, they all kind of get relinquished, is what I think is far more likely.
No, I think it would be better if she's all around the world, and it's all these different things, a fucking Looney Tunes, where
Toni
somehow
Storm
she loses
fucking
this
her
match,
over
this
in
match.
CMLL.
Disagree that it would be better, but I just don't think that they're gonna have Mercedes taking 5, 6, 7 losses. Is all I'm saying.
Wow.
Her downfall is at Toni Storm's hands, and she ultimately gets. And then guess what? Sasha Banks hits her low point, and then guess what? Face turn.
Goes back to WWE.
Face turn.
Oh.
Just leaves.
Just leaves. She's like, damn. Tony's like, guess what? Psych, you're fired. All right, guy, real quick. I don't do this often. Overall grade for the show. It's gonna be 10 out of 10, right? Right? 10 out of 10, right? All in. What's my curve? Starting at a 9?
You're starting at a 12.
Starting at a 9?
No, you're starting at a 12. I'm not even being facetious about that.
Okay. I'll start at a 12 then. We'll see where it goes.
I know. I already know.
We'll see how it goes, I said. Okay? We'll see how it goes.
Watching this live?
Yeah. All right, Saturday night's main event.
No, you're not.
I'm watching it live. Yeah, fuck yeah, I am, dude. I got friends coming over.
Okay.
Okay, now we know you're lying.
First off, when we listen to the email later, there's a part where you're like, oh, I had friends. I kept wanting to jump in and be like, no, you fucking didn't, dude.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Shit. Saturday night's main event. XL. When did we put the XL on there? Why haven't I noticed it?
It's the 40th ever Saturday night's main event.
Oh, I thought it was extra large.
It is?
Yep.
There's 3 matches.
Like my shirts.
That's nice.
I'm
Just keep
but-
lying.
But no, it is. They're XL.
Yeah,
Oh
double
yeah.
XL.
Oh yeah. No, dude, I'm fucking looking good, dude. I'm cutting my body fat
You're
down.
not. You're
My
really not.
BMI's dropping, Mike.
Oh. I don't know what you want to say.
if I've noticed one thing in 13 years of knowing you, right? 14 years now at this point. It's actually almost 14. It's that you care about my constant weight loss struggles and my battle against them. You're like,
Your
cool,
BMI.
my diets and shit. You're like, you care a lot about, and my
Yeah, I care about
ability
you
to
so
quit
much.
drinking. You really care about those two things a lot.
I like when you start drinking again.
It's almost like it's up and down battle my whole life. I'm off the stuff for good, except for I was drinking Maker's Mark from a flask in the river this weekend, so not
So
exactly.
you're back. Oh, gotcha.
Not exactly.
Back off the wagon.
Back
or
off
on
the wagon,
wagon,
yeah,
however
yeah,
it
yeah.
goes.
Yep. I don't care about the adages. I'm just conquering. All right, let's talk about Saturday night's main event. XO! Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. They're gonna make Drew
That'll be
McIntyre
good.
lose, aren't they?
I can't imagine McIntyre's going to lose his first match back.
Dude,
No,
you better
I think,
not.
I think
Because
Drew
they
wins.
bottomed him out by having him lose to Priest
Yes.
in the steel cage
Mhm.
match,
Yes.
take the concerto, and now you build him back up to the top.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I read an article on Bleacher Report last week. Who's in store for a huge push for the rest of the year? Drew McIntyre. Fuck you guys. Better be.
Mhm.
Wow, pick that actually makes sense.
Mhm.
I didn't like it either. Always gotta stick one in there just so I'm not the
Did Mike
complete
give you the
lunatic.
pick?
No, I do. I
Oh.
do my articles on my own.
Oh,
I
really?
got
Who's won?
ChatGPT now.
When did that start? Oh, God.
Wow. I shouldn't say that.
It's a
Yeah.
joke. It's a fucking joke, dude. I got integrity.
Yeah, nah, it's believable.
I'm not
Actually,
sure it is.
legitimately,
That's
I
the problem.
I write my articles while running on a treadmill. I speak to text them like a real American.
That's insane.
It's 100% true too. That's the craziest part of all this. LA
Like a
Knight
real
versus
dumbass.
Seth Rollins. You could hang a loss on Seth Rollins here. It wouldn't hurt him.
I agree.
I kind of agree, and
He
I
has money
would
in the
have
bank, so it
never.
doesn't matter.
What's that?
He has money in the bank, so it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter
Right.
if he
You
loses.
cash
I mean,
in
they
that
used
later
to
that
book
night.
Money
We
in the
never
Bank
remember.
winner to lose every fucking match they ever
Yeah.
had.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's going to be
I-
an overbooked, wild mess of a match, right?
And
So,
LA Knight could steal it.
yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking LA Knight, and I never would have said this until last night on Raw, because when he came out and he kind of beat up Seth and like ran off into the crowd, that was like I felt like a moment to me where he's like doing his
Who?
his
Who? Felt like
thing.
who? Who do you feel like when he came out only at the very, very end?
Well, it's not Stone Cold.
No.
I'm not gonna go that
Becky?
far.
The Rock would do that kind of stuff. He'd come out real quick at the end. Not that.
No, Stone Cold would do that
Well,
way
Stone
more.
Cold.
Yeah, The Rock did it too.
I'm not gonna put it on that level, but him in the crowd's going crazy, doing his catchphrase. Like, felt like a moment like we got some of that special sauce back that he had previously. I would capitalize on that momentum, have him beat Seth. What I would really love, because I don't know if the Sami Zayn thing we talked about. He got his ass beat by Karrion Kross. It feels like they're going to continue something there. I don't know that the Sami Zayn dream of winning the title at SummerSlam could become a reality. What could become a reality? What if LA Knight wins this match and that gets him a title match against Gunther at SummerSlam? What if he beats Gunther and then Seth cashes in on LA Knight? So we get an LA Knight little title win. I
oh
could get
wow!
behind
None of that shit's gonna happen.
Why not?
Let's go on to Gunther versus Goldberg. Singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It says here this will be Goldberg's retirement match, right?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something,
We
boys.
discussed a theory last week. Are you going with that theory? Don?
Was I remembering? What was the theory again? Sorry.
You don't remember
The
your own
theory
theory?
was
No, Goldberg's
because
gonna win. I remember that.
You kept insisting Goldberg was going to win.
Yes.
We kept insisting Gunther was going to win.
Yes, obviously.
The theory where the only way you could possibly have Goldberg win would be Goldberg winning and then Seth cashing in on him right after.
Okay.
Is that what you're going with? Or you're just going with Goldberg wins and it was a lie and he's going to keep wrestling till the end of time?
Well, he's not gonna wrestle to the end of time, but he's gonna get himself to SummerSlam with a championship win over Gunther.
Well, that's not happening.
I'm
So
not
that's
sure. I'm not sure. Look at me. I'm not sure.
If you would have told me the Seth cash in right after, I could get behind your idea, but you're just flat out wrong if you think this.
I'm not sure on the details yet. Okay, haven't worked it out. Trying to get some
I'm
data
glad you came prepared.
from my guy. No, listen, I'm trying to get. Well, here's the thing. I could make stuff up in my head. Whoa, here we go. Whoa, maybe Seth
you
cashes in at the end. You know what I mean? Something like that. It's right off the top of my head. Just come with that. So I think that.
It's off the top of your head.
Yeah, I think Goldberg.
Yeah, what we said last week.
Listen, Goldberg is going to walk. Goldberg will beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, whether it's cashed in on afterwards or whether we get some sort of Seth cash in at SummerSlam ahead of time and we get a triple threat. I think SummerSlam is a triple threat between the three of them.
No, that's not.
Yeah,
gonna
I'm telling you right now.
Happen.
Gunther versus Goldberg.
Your
Goldberg
prediction's
is. I'm
getting
telling
worse.
you. I'm telling you right now, dude.
You're telling us.
Listen. My fucking crystal ball. It's not always clear, but I see the fucking right direction, and it is
No, you don't.
Goldberg winning this match, dude.
This is getting worse and worse. I could have got behind the Goldberg winning and Seth cashing in, but that complete fucking stupidity. I'm totally off that now. Gunther just wins.
Gunther wins. Crowd goes
You guys
nuts,
are
but
gonna
Gunther
look
wins.
fucking so stupid. Where is this taking place?
It's in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Gunther wins, but
Oh,
Goldberg
guys!
doesn't come up and...
Goldberg doesn't come back for fucking one-off shit shows. It's a fucking mega time. Like it's a sandwich. I get two
He's in his
servings.
hometown. He's having his final match, his retirement match, in his hometown. That's it.
He's
That's
not
all.
jobbing when his son's right there. He's going out.
Yes,
He's
he
going to
is.
win the championship, and then he's going to job out. Not in Atlanta. He's going
The
to
only
win.
way to do
He's
that
winning in
then is
Atlanta.
to cash in.
He is winning in Atlanta. He is not Matt Ryan. He is winning in Atlanta.
The only way it
doesn't make
happens
sense,
is if
though,
Seth
because
cashes
then you
in.
still
That's
lose
it.
the championship
end of
anyway.
story.
So like, what's the purpose?
What's the porpoise?
No,
Yeah, what's the fucking porpoise, bro? What's the dolphin?
porpoise, dude? They're different animals. Did you not know that? Why did you say dolphin?
No, they're very. I know they're different. They're very similar.
Just
though,
they're
so I said
different
that.
animals, dude.
Different but similar.
Yeah, I guess so, dude. No, porpoises are like attracted to fucking boat spinny things. You know what I mean?
I just don't
Dolphins know to stay
understand
away.
your theory. I just don't understand your theory. He wins a championship, so he has to go on to another match. So then he has to lose at some point. the
Yes, he's
championship.
going to lose immediately.
So what's the
Yes.
purpose of that?
Why? What do you mean? What's the purpose? Because Goldberg gets it. Because the USA Today, it'd be on the front cover. That's why. Because Bill Goldberg's a fucking name.
I don't
dude.
think
Because
Goldberg's
this is
on
fucking
USA Today in
publicity.
2025.
Because you can have Bill
Found out
Goldberg.
he's in Atlanta.
Because hey, guess what, dickface?
Dude,
At
this dude can get injured in
SummerSlam
this
on
fucking
the
match.
marquee, it can say World Heavyweight Champion Bill Goldberg one more
They got
fucking
Cena and
time.
Cody.
That's like Stone Cold Steve Austin on a billboard,
It's not
brother.
at all. Not at all.
Sorry, I got heated there. But yeah, I do
Yeah.
believe Goldberg wins the championship. Yes.
That's what you believe.
Okay, bad opinion.
And let's go on to the, what opposite of this. Goyle matches. Oh, boy. Let's go over here. By the way, can I just say something to you?
No.
The promo between Tiffany Stratton and fucking Trish Stratus was hot garbage. That
Why?
shit sucked. That Valley Girl,
Not
oh
anything
my
great,
god.
So,
Oh
EG,
my
him and-
god.
Him
I
and
don't
George
understand.
definitely had a conversation about this,
They
right?
sure did.
Because they're both crying about it. So like,
No,
Yeah,
I
don't get it.
from the bottom of
Yeah.
my
Wasn't
heart, dude. This is
bad.
either
was
that or
good.
it was something on the Facebook page where somebody was crying about it.
It was
It's like this
nothing.
is not an original thought from Donnie. I don't think he
No.
even saw the promo. To be
I
honest
did. I
with you.
guess
definitely
what?
did not.
I saw
What
a few
color
chocolate
was Trish's outfit?
pink. I saw a couple references to ice cream when Jade showed up. So yeah, I saw it all, dude.
What?
They like ice cream. It's like chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
Oh.
And I want to be.
Neapolitan?
I want to
Gotcha.
be. I want to be the banana and I split.
Yeah.
We're all like, yes, banana split. Yes, sir. We agree.
Love the banana splits.
And WWE Evolution, we're all for respect here, so ease up, guys. This is why our lady demographic continues to dwindle.
We pretty much never had one, so I don't know what you're
We had
talking
three
about.
That's not
lady,
true.
we had three lady friends. They all have left over
I said
years.
pretty much never had one.
JC
I mean,
Jane.
we have like 10 listeners, so
Oh
30
my
sounds
god,
pretty
dude! Shut the fuck up, dude. I'm talking. JC Jane against with Halen Finley. Fennel?
That ain't the name.
Jordan Grace. So it's JC Jane against Jordan
Fennel?
Grace. NXT Women's Championship.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace
Got
is
it.
winning that thing.
Got it. See, that's nothing. That's a nothing match. We know it's happening. It's a
That's not
championship
a nothing match. That's an awesome moment. Jordan winning the title.
It's a
and
moment,
then-
not a match. I said the match. You keep talking moment. I said match.
The match will be good.
It's me mid.
Setsa, I think Blake Monroe will ultimately win it from Jordan Grace when they want to call her up.
Yeah, hi. Hello, obvious. Io Sky against Rhea Ripley. Banger. Certified banger. Io defends.
I think this
Oh,
main
it's-
events. Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I
Becky.
can see Tiffany and Trish.
Yeah,
But actually,
no,
I think
no.
Rhea wins, so I'm gonna go with Rhea and Io main eventing.
I agree. I mean, Rhea is your biggest woman star, and Io is probably your best.
Is Becky Lynch
woman
not
in
on this
ring.
card? Oh no, she is.
She
She's
is.
right down here. So that's not true.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, Becky.
You can change. Okay, you can say that Rhea
Ripley
Ripley has been
Simply
booked
not.
better lately, and that's for sure. But
No,
Becky
it's
Lynch
not
is a
about
bigger
booking.
star.
It's
Becky's
about
a bigger
mainstream appeal, and it really is.
More
right now.
people, more people know who fucking Becky Lynch is than Rhea Ripley.
No, I know that because you're not really on social media and stuff. Like, is your wife on like TikTok?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say ask her about the obsession with Rhea Ripley. Like, she has transcended wrestling at this point. Rhea is their biggest women's star right now, and Rhea will win the title here, I think.
We live in a pervert society, and I hate it.
However,
You
it
hate
got
it?
to that way. That's just the reality of the situation.
I got a little girl. I don't
There
want
you
her
go.
coming up in this society. Fuck this nonsense.
She's also happens to be a fucking awesome wrestler. So
I'm going with Rhea.
I'll go with Io because I don't like perverts like Rhea.
That's
Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez against Alexa Bliss.
is
and
alliteration
Charlotte Flair.
difficult for you?
Dude,
It's
I
horrible.
just smoked a whole blunt. I'm fucking sleepy.
Yeah, that's why.
Sol Roca and Zarya and the Kabuki Warriors.
Sol
Holy
Roca.
shit. You talk about the shit ass fucking tag team match over in AEW. This is a fucking conglomerate of fucking people just thrown together. I want Kabuki Warriors
In
to win
what
because
sense?
they're the best. Alexa Bliss and
Kabuki
Charlotte
Warriors
Flair.
have been a team for
Cool.
many years.
They haven't been a team in a long time, and they're barely on television ever. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair
Asuka
never
just
a team.
returned, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
They,
Okay.
They were, when
Okay.
Asuka last got injured,
Alexa
they
Bliss,
were a
Charlotte
team
Flair,
at
not a
that
tag
time.
team. Sol Ruka and
They're
Zarya,
100%.
I'm not in NXT, so I don't know what the fuck that
Sol
is.
Ruka
So.
have been a tag team for months, and
Cool.
Alexa
None of
and
the-
Charlotte
okay, cool. So it means nothing.
Alexa and Charlotte for many weeks
Can you
have
pick
had
a winner?
Because
Because none of this makes sense or means anything.
So it all makes sense. Totally makes sense. This should be a great match.
So they successfully defend here, and none of this
I
matters.
think Raquel
BJ?
and Roxanne win, although it
No
wouldn't
shit.
shock me if Alexa and Charlotte won.
It would totally shock me, but fine.
Really?
I'll go with the Kabuki Warriors.
They should win, but they won't. This is a battle royal for the women's championship at Clash in Paris.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're
I'll
just selling
say-
our fucking pay-per-views to the fucking.
I'll say
other
Nikki
countries
wins.
again.
You think Nikki's gonna win?
Nikki Bella.
Oh God.
Yes, Nikki
Yeah,
Bella,
I hope
100%.
not. I think
So they won, but
she's
now.
gonna get eliminated by the woman whose name she butchered, and Stephanie Vacque is gonna win.
Vacky ain't winning shit, dude. This is a Nikki
Is she
Bella
in it?
showcase.
Vacque.
Are you asking me? Fucking
Yeah.
bad
Yeah,
move.
we think-
Google it, motherfucker. That's a better case scenario there. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus.
I just think
Wait.
it's,
Did you pick Nikki Bella?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
I
just
picked
think
Nikki
it's
Bella.
stupid that
She's evolution, dude. She is evolution. Io Sky's number one hero.
Stephanie
I'm glad that
and-
Nikki got relegated to the Battle Royal. I can say that for
That
sure.
is very funny. Stephanie and Julia came up with such fanfare. They were Money in the Bank. They were huge stars for it. And they have no fucking storyline heading into Evolution. That's fucking
I think-
stupid.
Well, Julia just won the title, so she's
I don't
struggling.
I'll tell you what. I would
And she has
have,
no storyline.
but because she has a title, I would do an open challenge with her and have like a legend or something.
Have
That'd be
Vacky
great.
come out, and
I
Vacky
don't-
just comes
I
up
think
short.
it's fine.
Nikki should have done
I
it.
think
Nikki
having
should have answered that
Vacque
challenge.
in the Battle
Holy
Royal is
shit.
fine if she's gonna win it, like I think she is.
Huh, she
But-
answers Julia's open fucking mic challenge.
Open mic
She's like,
challenge?
you come out here, you want to talk work rate? I got work rate for you, bitch.
I think a Julia Open challenge would be cool because, like you said, she just
Yeah.
won the title, so they don't have a feud ready. But I mean, that'd be a cool thing to do.
All right, go ahead.
We
Oh,
made
I,
her
go
pick.
ahead.
I thought you had
DNC.
more. I thought you were going to say that. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Cool. Tiffany Stratton wins. It means nothing. It's a cool way to get Trish on this card. But yeah, this is nothing. And the promo stuff.
Tiffany wins, obviously.
Yeah, I
Be a cool match.
hated the way that they introduced this, though.
Yeah, this is doo-doo. This is I get the one-off stuff, and I kind of like the one-off stuff, but do it right. Honestly, Gunther and Goldberg, especially when Goldberg wins, it's gonna be great. Like we're gonna view that as a very fun
Stop
use of a
saying
legend. You know what I mean? You're gonna be so wrong, dude. You're gonna be so wrong. I can't. I'm calling you. I'm not even texting you. I'm calling you when he wins the championship.
No, you're not.
I am.
I won't answer.
I'm FaceTiming you,
Wait
dude.
until the
Call him
end
on
of the
Monday.
show because if he wins the title, he's gonna get cashed in.
Doesn't matter. At that point, I'd still be right. I'm still right.
You would
Goldberg-
not be right.
Goldberg is
'Cause you're-
winning
you're-
the championship.
You're insisting that he won't get cashed in on.
Well, no. If he gets cashed, that's fine too. It's going to be a triple threat at SummerSlam. That's not his last match, bud.
No, it's not.
But it's not his match. If he gets cashed in on, if it is, because in that sense, Seth Rollins cashed in on him, he's doing a rematch.
No, he's not. He's retired. That's it.
No, but listen. Well, guess what? Guess what? One more. Who's next?
No.
Who's next? Happening. One more time.
It's not happening.
BJ, come on, dude.
What?
That would be chaotic as shit. We'd love that. It'd be great. BJ, you'd love. I'm FaceTiming you, dude.
Do not talk to us.
You're gonna be like, Cinnamon, he is FaceTiming me. Hurry up, get over here. Hey.
No. I work on Monday, so don't call me.
I'm calling you late, dude. I'm calling you. Well, it's Saturday. That's Saturday.
Yeah, but you're not watching.
Jade Cargill versus Naomi, no holds barred. Can Naomi carry this greener than goose shit Jade Cargill they're just showcasing? Is this the storyline you want in AEW that just exposes her as not a good wrestler?
Yeah, I absolutely did want a storyline.
Cool.
But we're getting
it
one.
Makes her look awful. Everyone says the same thing. She honestly probably shouldn't be on the main roster until she's trained more.
Oh, okay. But the funny thing is, when they took a long time to debut her, everybody cried about that.
I didn't cry about it. I knew she was greener than goose shit. That's why Tone was doing what he did with her.
Gotcha.
How's Rusev doing? How about Aleister Black? I thought all these guys were going to come over here and be
Aleister Black's doing good. I don't care about Rusev.
Yeah, so. I was told that all these guys would come back and they'd be big stars. It's almost like there's maybe issues. Maybe it's not his fault. Good.
What are you talking about? Are you okay?
Nah, I'm having a day, bro.
I think Jade definitely wins because she's got a title match coming up at SummerSlam.
Yeah, no shit, dude. Keep fucking force feeding her. But BJ, agreed?
Naomi's definitely cashing in on her at some point, though.
Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Lyra Valkyria.
Good chance to be match of the night. Either that or Io versus Rhea, I would say.
Yeah,
I think Io and Rhea.
It's a tough call, but I'm going to say Becky because she pretty much just won the title.
Oh, Bayley.
It's got to be Becky. Becky's going to retain here. We did all the previews. Look at that, guys.
I think that should maybe be the opener.
If it's not going to main event?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Gonna.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with it. Just banger entrances to start. You know what I mean? Bayley's the first entrance we get. Lyra's in the middle, and then fucking Becky comes out third. Blang, there's your fucking opener. It bangs, it fucking claps, it slaps. Yeah. And then Rhea and Io is your main event, especially if you get title change.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bury Trish in the middle, because that's going to blow. Jade can go in 3 minutes in between. There's a little squash match there. Boom, I just booked your show. Saved you fucking 45 minutes.
The first Evolution had Alicia Fox in the opener, so we'd be moving in the right direction.
Well, fucking good stuff, I guess. We're making progress, huh?
Yep.
Good. So look, we did all the previews. We talked about all the things. People complain about us taking time off. Look, we've been here for weeks in a row. You like it now? Are you happy with us?
So many weeks in a row.
We care about you people. We love you people. You people. We love you people. Go ahead. We got Patreon poll results. I'm done talking wrestling.
Oh, yeah. For those that don't know, the first of every month on patreon.com/ringrustradio, we put up a poll for people to vote on, leave comments. This month's poll, courtesy of Mike Chiari. Who is the greatest women's wrestler in WWE? Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
I'm getting lightning here in case this all goes kaput.
It better not. We're gonna wrap up soon anyway. You guys have any guesses? Make a guess.
I think people will say Becky Lynch.
Okay. Donnie?
Greatest of all time lady. Is this all like this could be Lita, right? This could be any lady ever?
Yes.
I'll say Trish Stratus.
Oh, okay. Mike is correct. 33% of the votes went to Becky Lynch. 17% of the votes went to Asuka and Charlotte. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Trish Stratus all got 8%.
What the fuck?
So Liv Morgan got 1 vote.
And AJ Lee. Excuse me.
That's fucking.
LA Knight. Who? How many for Manami Toyota?
She's not in WWE.
Yeah, because they're cowards. Didn't she? She was in there for a minute. Did she do a Battle Royal or something?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Look that up.
Are you thinking of Miko Satomura?
Are you thinking of Bull Nakano?
Oh, easy, dude.
Think of anyone
You're just
from-
naming Asian ladies. What are we
Right,
doing
'cause
here,
that's
dude?
how, we're putting ourselves into your mind,
Yeah.
and that's how you think.
Go ahead.
There's some comments. Justin Carson says, AJ was close for me because she was pretty legit in the Divas era. Charlotte's unlikability kills her character work, but I'd vote for her just in ring. Just for her in ring. I went with the total package, Rhea Ripley.
Lex
Nathan
Luger?
Tom.
Now I can't stop thinking of like everybody's just perverts now. I got it.
Nathan Tomlanovich has a dialogue here. Nikki Bella. Why not me, bitch? Big Johnny. I wrestle with Mama Bella every night.
Not
Nikki
anymore.
Bella gross. Big Johnny. Did I ever tell you the time I gave her the old Scooby-Doo and I chased her from room to room? Nikki Bella. Get the fuck away from me,
Scooby-Doo.
loser.
The Scooby-Doo's a good one, dude. Holy shit.
At least it ain't
Allison-
Charizarding, you know?
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
Charizarding was
Allison-
probably my favorite one ever.
Alex Contreras says, I base this question solely on wrestling skills. I don't know if they meant it to be overall, but in my heart of hearts, the greatest woman to ever lace her boots is Asuka.
It's a respectable opinion.
Yeah, cool.
Angel May says, it's surprising for me to say that I think Charlotte Flair is probably the greatest female wrestler. Her matches mainly only range from very good to amazing classics, and she only has had mediocre matches with those who just aren't honestly in her league. Many fans may dislike her, mainly those online, but there is a reason why she is always on TV and news. She's one of the few who always brings it. Justin
Angel?
Carson. That was Angel Mesa.
He's spitting fire right there.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Justin
Good job.
says,
Did you hear the thunder?
Justin,
No, we
No.
don't hear
Got
about
the
your fucking
lightning
weather.
and the thunder. Come on, let's go,
Just-
dude.
Justin says, I went with Rhea, but this is my second option in my same reasoning. She's pretty great, even if we all hate her, lol. And Angel says, Rhea for me, still early to call the greatest, but I can easily see it. Great choice.
Did Bianca get a vote?
Nope.
Did Sasha get a vote?
Nope.
Say it
I don't
loud.
want to say why I think that is, but I think.
Oh,
that
it's
they
you
should
think?
get
Hold
a
on.
vote.
You think are you because they're brown? Are you saying it's because we're racist?
I
We
didn't
have-
say.
I'd like to point out that many of our friends, like all the girls, okay, like I don't see much racism in that section of our chat.
I think Bianca should have got.
I would like to think that if I've learned one thing from all of our friends here, there's so much respect that crosses boundaries. There ain't no problems here with that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think you thought of it first, and this is a you
Mike,
smelled it, you dealt it situation. You're the racist. You're the racist.
I'm not, because
Mike,
my
who would you
vote would
go
be for
for?
Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that would be a
Slash
waste of votes.
Mercedes
Oh no,
Moné.
my trash cans fell over. MK!
I thought that was a Sasha dick.
Wrap this up real quick for me. I gotta get my trash cans.
Patreon.com. Sign up. Patreon.com/RingRadio to hear the ad-free version of our podcast. Get early access to upcoming retros such as WWE SummerSlam 1989, our top 10 list for SummerSlam performers and pay-per-views. Most importantly, you can hear our current era fantasy draft right now. You can sign up for this month's bracket taking place next Tuesday, July 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to determine the best championship design of all time.
That'll be a fun one, I think.
Hell yeah, I can't wait for Donnie to cry.
Fuck him. I hope he leaves, never comes back.
Hell yeah, fuck Donnie.
Strangeness in the latest report. You gotta call Dirt Sheet Buster. Egregious lies, anonymously sourced. You gotta call Dirt Sheet Buster. Scoop, 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 scoop. No lies, no retraction. Scoop, 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 scoop. Per a source that's interesting to know.
As of last weekend, so I guess more recently than last weekend?
I just don't buy it, Mike. I think it's always the plan.
Yeah, I mean, they literally did a whole thing with Trish and Tiffany earlier this year, teaming together and stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, might have had a little inkling, at least, even back then. But, you know. What
I
do
just feel
know?
like they had Tiffany go through with her storyline with Nia Jax. All right, now we're going to introduce you to the new challenger.
Right, 100%. BG, Britt Baker wants out of AEW.
Sick! Oh. Last one.
This is a two-parter. Britt Baker is reportedly looking to leave All Elite Wrestling According to Bodyslam.net, Britt Baker is actively seeking to part ways with AEW. The former AEW Women's World Champion believes there's nothing left to keep her in the promotion, with the talent pointing to burn bridges and a belief that the environment has changed around her.
Wow.
AEW aren't currently looking to release Baker from her contract, though, with Bodyslam claiming that the promotion are waiting for Evolution to pass and for no further WWE shows in Baker's hometown of Pittsburgh to be announced before allowing any potential split to move forward.
Wow.
They're afraid of the huge impact she would have on Evolution.
Right, like, come on.
Where, like, many of the greatest and biggest women stars of all time are wrestling. Got it. Here's the second part. Recent reports have suggested that Baker is determined to exit AEW. Follow-up reports from PW Insider and Fightful Select state that Baker has not asked for her release from AEW, though. Fightful's report states that some in AEW believe that the idea of Baker actively communicating that she wants out of the company is, and I quote, news to them, with Baker's conduct, especially on social media, no different than usual. Baker's believed to still have well over a year left on her AEW contract, and if injury time is factored in, then the DMD could be part of the company until 2027. Oh, man.
Wow.
Senator Drew Guantanamo Bay. Hard to get away from there.
That's a shame if you want out.
Yeah.
But she hasn't indicated she wants out, so
yeah.
I don't know what to believe.
Just based on pure speculation and not trying to report on anything, do I believe Britt Baker wants to leave AEW and go to WWE if that option's on the table? 100% I believe that to be the case. Because she hasn't been used in like a year.
I was going to say, like, this kind of feels like she's been just passed by in the company. Like, she was one of the originals, essentially. One of the bigger stars in the women's division. And then they started hiring other people. Mercedes Moné is there. Toni Storm is there. They took all the spotlight. And so they haven't tried to build her back up. So I think it's just a natural dirt sheet report to be like, oh, she wants out.
Right. I think that's natural. Do I believe it's possible she hasn't, like, gone to AEW and be like, hey, I want to leave? Sure, I believe that's plausible, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if we use our fucking common sense, probably wants to leave if that's an option on the table. But we got to do the whole little dirt sheet fucking game and pretend like we know things that we don't know, and that's how they do it.
How to play a game.
Next is from PW Torch and Fightful Select.
Ooh, tag team.
This is one of a couple that we actually did discuss last week. It didn't make the show, but let's have some discourse about Karrion Kross bumping for no reason.
This one. This is a little gem.
Yes. A recent claim from Wade Keller of PW Torch noted that Kross's fellow pro wrestlers don't believe he will ever be pushed as a top star in WWE because the 39-year-old allegedly doesn't really take bumps.
That's such a dumb thing to say.
Hulk Hogan, he was bumping all the time. And he was pushed to the top star. But
different era, Mike.
Sure. This point of view is not shared by backstage personnel, though. Fightful Select has reported that multiple people who have produced Kross's matches in the past claim that Kross not bumping has never been an issue they have encountered. So which is it? It's either a huge issue or not an issue.
Yeah, where does that even come from? He's a wrestler.
I would like to know who's saying, and again, I mean, seen enough Karrion Kross matches. He just had a good one against Sammy at Night of Champions. Seemed to take a normal amount of bumps to me in that match.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like, I'll say this. He's supposed to be, like, more of a dominant heel who gets more of the offense in, and then the babyface comes back. I mean, that's what he was dating back to NXT. That's what he was probably in TNA and pretty much everything else. That's how he's always been portrayed. So, okay, you're a quote-unquote dominant heel. You're not going to maybe bump as much as a normal wrestler, but when it's time to take a bump, I've never thought to myself, wow, I can't believe he's not taking a bump.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, this is just, someone's getting some popularity. Let's bring him down.
Yeah, well, let's bring him down, or let's just use his name for any kind of clout we can get to get attention, you know?
Yeah, that's a good one.
This next one's from Fightful Select. AEW is going to announce a match with people in it for All In.
Let me tell you something, Mike. I have never believed something so much.
You buy this?
Because there'll probably be like 6 of them announced on fucking Dynamite.
It's like a match, only bigger, with lots of people in it. According to Fightful Select, AEW has confirmed 2 more big title matches for the July 12th show, but there's still more to be added. The report notes AEW All In is under a week away, and the card is still coming together. We're told at least one match with, and I quote, a number of performers was planned to be added to the show, Fightful added. That match is expected to be announced by this Thursday episode of Collision. The last fucking show they do before the pay-per-view. Though it doesn't appear AEW plans to cram the card with as many matches as previous years. I'll believe that one when I see it.
Yeah. A number
Gonna
of
add a
people,
match
a number of performers.
with a number of performers. What's the number? 2?
Every match has a number of performers.
Sure does. There's not, to my knowledge, a match with infinite performers.
Not even that. Has there ever been a match with one person just wrestling themselves?
If you count like Kenny Omega wrestling a blow-up doll, maybe.
No, that's 2 performers.
2 performers, 1 person. So it would only be, the number of people would only be 1.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still a number.
They said performers.
Wait, did they say performers or people?
I thought you said a number of performers.
I already deleted it. I don't know.
It's alright. It doesn't matter. It's a stupid fucking
Oh
report.
yeah, a number of performers. You're right. So
See,
you know what?
go.
They even get away with it if it's like 2 dogs having a match. Which I would watch, by the way, like Air Bud Wrestling or something. But I digress. Next one's from Melts in Fightful Select. WWE planted the fans CM Punk apologized to in Saudi Arabia.
Wow, that's a loaded report, Mike. Seek! Oh. I never know what to believe anymore.
CM Punk's apology for his infamous 2020 tweet about The Miz in Saudi Arabia, aka blood money covered dick, caught everyone off guard. But now the internet's buzzing with theories that the whole thing was carefully staged by WWE. Wow.
Oh.
The unexpected moment happened during the Night of Champions kickoff show when a fan of the crowd asked Punk to apologize for the tweet he fired off 6 years ago. Instead of brushing it off, Punk leaned into the moment and for once ditched his usual sarcasm. For once! Agendas here. Punk made it clear the tweet wasn't about Saudi Arabia in the first place. The apology had quote-unquote experts like Dave Meltzer question the authenticity of the moment. I like that one. Quote-unquote experts. Meltzer openly suggested the fan interaction was staged by WWE to help polish Punk's image, especially in Saudi Arabia. Obviously planted, Meltzer said, implying the whole thing was part of WWE's playbook to avoid controversy. But, according to a report from Fightful Select, WWE staff who were present backstage claimed they didn't hear anything about the segment being set up in advance. For some reason, there were rumors of a plant regarding CM Punk's apology in Saudi Arabia. The staff we spoke to said, if that was the case, they hadn't heard of it.
Mike, no one ever hears of anything. But apparently someone's always talking.
Yep. Yeah. But rarely it's somebody that actually knows anything that seems to be talking because the information seems to almost be wrong. So
it's always someone that doesn't know shit is talking. But then if you reach out to someone who might know something, they don't know anything. And they're not talking.
So we literally got the 2 opposite ends of the report, and we come out of it knowing nothing. That's
Shit
the dirt
sucks.
sheet experience. That's what I like to call it.
Go away, Donnie. We know you love us, but go away.
You ready for the coup de grace?
Double stomp me. Double stomp Donnie, actually.
It's from WrestleVotes. BG, maybe we have different definitions of the word imminent. How would you describe the word imminent if you had to?
Honestly, like, immediately, very soon, about to fucking happen in front of your eyes.
Agreed. Something that is about to happen. So, 2 weeks ago, basically, this is from, okay?
Mm-hmm.
During the latest WrestleVotes Q&A on WrestleBinge, it was confirmed that there are currently no plans for Drew McIntyre's return, leaving the former WWE champion on the sidelines for the foreseeable future. And here's the quote. Nothing on the pipeline recently, which tells me it's not imminent. Okay? So this is about 2 weeks ago. Last week, Drew McIntyre returns on SmackDown. But it's not like he returned on a normal Friday SmackDown. He returned on Monday because SmackDown was taped on Monday. It was a double taping of Raw and SmackDown. So literally just days after this report, Drew McIntyre returns. Which tells, to me, less than a week later, if he's returning, his return was in fact imminent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's as imminent as you can get in pro wrestling. Like, the next show, he comes back. That's imminent. And that's what we got. Great job. Great job, Russell Woods. The Donald Wood, a.k.a. Russell Woods. BG, how we do? Ooh, my return is imminent. All right, guys, it is time for fantasy standings. That's right. This weekend we got about 1,000 pay-per-views. Couple of them are WWE related, and those are going to be the final ones before SummerSlam, which is the end of Ring Rust Radio Season 40 Fantasy WWE. Can you believe that?
That's unbelievable, man. We're getting very close.
We're getting close. So this is a big standings update. In last place, 9th with negative 40, having absolutely no chance to win, George Cruz.
Fucking deserves it.
Mm-hmm. He tells us these nice things that he texts Donnie.
We don't get nice things.
We don't get nice texts at all. You guys wouldn't believe if I showed you some of this stuff. In 8th with negative 25, George Sparrows. He doesn't text us at all. He doesn't like the show at all, I don't believe. But
yeah, he absolutely hates us now.
I like him.
I like him too. I thought it was very entertaining, but we haven't heard from him for months. Ever since we had to go to Discord, I think he's anti-Discord. And
that could be.
If he just said he was anti-Donnie, I totally get it. Because Donnie fucking sucks. I'm so happy he's not here. He's a piece of shit. I'm sure he's listening right now.
Probably is. He's obsessed with us.
Mm-hmm.
In 7th with 15, Angel Meza. We're in the positives. Wow. Moving forward. In 6th with 37.5, Skeener. Skeener's my man. Love him. With all due respect, this is an incredible performance for him in WWE Fantasy.
Yeah, last season he was fucking awful.
Tie for 4th with 40. Chris
Wow.
Jeter and Donald Wood.
Ooh, sorry, Chris.
Sorry, Chris. Horrible company to be in.
Yeah, it smells.
In 3rd with significantly more than Donald Wood, 45. Big Money Mike.
Nice. Good for you.
5 more. I'll take it. In 2nd with 65, Reggie Gill, which means in 1st with 107.5.
Oh my God.
BG. Buddy, you are dominating the season. What's going on?
Holy shit. That's fucking crazy. I'm nervous now because we have a lot of shows coming up. I need there to be no shows.
You're going to panic and make the worst possible move after Evolution and ruin your chances.
It's definitely going to happen.
Here's the thing. I mean, obviously you got a good chance. You're like freaking 50 points up almost.
You never know, man.
But there are a lot of shows between now and SummerSlam.
Yep.
SummerSlam's 2 nights. It's going to be a lot of matches. Could be interesting still.
I really need Io to lose.
To lose to Rhea?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it.
Reggie
I
Io.
think she is going to lose. I think she's going to lose. But not guaranteed. You never know.
Oh, never know.
All right. Well, that's it for Fantasy Things. We're moving on to the email section. And I got to tell you guys, we had an absolutely freaking epic email section last week. We're the only ones that know about it right now because it went away, unfortunately. We're going to try to redo it. We're going to start with an email from Dan the Beast Severn Marsh, subject current WWE storylines. Guys, by the way, send us emails to ringrustradio@gmail.com. Go to patreon.com/ringrustradio. If you contribute to the email tier higher, we have to read at least one of your emails every single month. This is from Dan. I don't mean to sound like Donald. It's not how you want to start an email usually, because that means
that's rough.
You might sound like him, which you don't want to do. But most of the current storylines bore me. I enjoyed Night of Champions, and for the most part, the matches were fine. My hope is that Seth Rollins fails in his cash-in, and when he does it, I thought that was going to happen last night. This might have been last week, but I'm not entirely sure what he's referring to.
I think he meant Night of Champions.
Could be. Rollins needs to lose his cash-in order to keep things interesting because his current little group with that fat, pudgy sidekick of his needs to go. Poor Paul Heyman. And I can't believe that they're going to do next year's Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The cost of transporting 60 wrestlers plus all the other technical people to Saudi has to be incredible, but the sides are rich and they can afford the tickets. Love Ring Rust Radio.
Far more than 60.
I mean, they're getting paid enough, then they're going to transport the wrestlers and the equipment, I guess is what it comes down to. But yeah, Ring Rust. The thing with the Rollins group, it's not lived up to its fullest potential yet. I will say I think they took a good step in the right direction on Raw because we finally got a little bit of explanation for like why this group is together. Braun Breaker came out and said it. They actually shined the light on Braun Breaker, which is something they hadn't really been doing.
Yeah.
And it was good that they did because, you know, obviously Braun's going to be your breakout star coming out of this. Obviously, right now, you're building towards Seth's going to be world champion. But I think the ultimate goal of this is for Braun to be main event ready once this is all over. And he got the spotlight, cut a promo, explained like the reason I joined this group is because Seth and Paul Heyman, they laid out their vision to me. I'm going to be the guy basically coming out of this. I'm going to be the face of WWE. So I'm glad that we finally got to hear that. And I like the through line of Raw where they each had a match and they were trying to, you know, destroy all the guys that have been kind of getting in their way lately. And then LA Knight gets the better of them, and LA Knight gets a huge fucking pop, and that was a great ending to the show. I felt like it presented LA Knight as the star that he is. So I thought that was kind of the best for an entire show that they've done with presenting this group. But before that, I don't think that it was really hitting on all cylinders. I thought that it was falling short in a lot of respects. My expectation, my hope, is that once Seth cashes in, I do not want Seth to fail his cash in. I want him to succeed in his cash in because I think Seth is one of the best in the world right now and has been for a long time. And I think he'll be great as champion with being insulated by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And I think it'll make for good television and good storylines. My hope is that once they do that, then we're going to get the best of this group. But I do largely agree with Dan saying until last night on Raw, I wasn't really loving what we were getting as a whole from this group because it wasn't living up to its potential. Not that it was horrible, but it wasn't what I was expecting or hoping for.
Yeah, I agree overall with your sentiment about Raw. It was their best showing. I did overall enjoy the promo to start. Braun explaining. What I liked most about that promo actually was Seth not even saying a word. Let everyone do the talking. Yeah, let everyone do their talking and basically just sitting back like I am. In so many ways, without saying a word, I'm the visionary of all of what everything just said and the whole plan of the future and what's been happening for months. So I actually enjoyed that aspect of it. The group overall still isn't really doing anything for me though. I think I said this in our never to be released audio from last week. Yep. That I was intrigued by Braun Breaker joining Seth and Paul Heyman right after Raw, right after WrestleMania, and I enjoyed that impact that he had in that segment, taking out CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But then ever since, I felt like he's been in the shadow, and that he was actually better off before joining the group. I'm still in that territory, Mike, even with last night and him explaining what that is, because to me, even without the group, I think everyone was able to see it even on the show. If you're a fan, like, oh, this guy is going to be a major star, and probably for fucking 2 decades with how young he is, and that you didn't need this group for it. So I really still want them to push him forward. And I think him being like IC champion, for example, would do that as opposed to mostly be getting tag team matches a lot of the time with Bronson Reed. So I just feel like they need to do a better job. No, go for it.
I just think that what I would have done if you were going to have them doing a lot of tag matches, him and Bronson Reed, I think they should have won like the tag titles on their first
immediately.
Team.
Absolutely.
And then
I absolutely agree with that.
And then I realized, okay, that means you're kind of sticking him into a tag team for now, but he's still going to have singles matches when it's time to have singles matches. Like both of those guys have been having singles matches, but you immediately establish them as a dominant team and as a threat, and they could just run through people. And I think you elevate both of them if you would have done that. And it's not like you're doing jack fucking shit with the titles anyways, so you might as well have done it.
I always like when stable has all the gold, and so I really wish they would have just pulled the trigger on that. Like you said, first night we're a tag team, boom, we win gold. Like that doesn't happen often. I thought that would have been really cool. So yeah, I just feel like they have to do better, and I do think that once Seth does win a championship, which we are hoping that is at SummerSlam, that's what happens.
Or the idea that we talked about last week with Saturday Night's Main Event.
Oh, yeah. I really don't want that because that would screw my fantasy. I need Luther to win. Yep. So, yeah, they have to do a better job. The next email comes from Matt Bowers of Pain. Subject is top 10 list. Hello, Mike and BG. Donnie Tubi shows up. Never shows up for emails.
Once again, did not show up.
Yep. So this isn't a wrestling top 10, but I thought it would be fun. What are your top 10 90s toys from when you were a kid. Have fun. Can't wait to hear Matt Bowers.
Let's be honest about this situation, okay?
Let's be honest, Mike.
This is what devastated us the most. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we lost Dirty Buzzers, we lost Fantasy Stings, we lost, another email last week. Can live with that. But we lost our discussion of this email, which is something we are both very passionate about, and that devastated us. But we're going to try to do that conversation again. I can't promise it's going to be as good as the first one would have been.
Yep.
You'll
never know, but it was fucking gold. We firmly believe it was one of the greatest segments in Wrestling Radio history.
And it had nothing to do with the wrestling, but a little bit.
No, there's a little bit of wrestling in here. Sure. But it was so much fun, so much passion involved. So I'll tell you what, Mike. I have thought about this every day for a week.
Same.
I have not changed my list.
Me neither.
I have not gone back to look at anything that we had discussed or anything of the sort.
Yep. Living in the moment.
So we're going to live in the moment once again. Actually, I lied. I did add 2 things to my honorable mentions. Which we will say.
I mentioned, I think I might have added one thing to my honorable mentions because it came to my mind that I don't think we discussed it at all.
Oh, okay. But we had mentioned some things in just talking, and I was like, I want to make sure we don't forget that. So we'll get to that in honorable mentions. My top 10 has not changed. I am starting, Mike. Again, so my list is all about feels and vibes and taking myself back to childhood. Okay?
What's nostalgic to you?
What's nostalgic to me? And I really focused my entire top 10. The focus is action figures. Okay. There's other toys that we will talk about later and we'll talk about, but for me, I was only focused on action figures.
Okay. And for me, because it was top 10 90s toys, I looked at it through a full scope, and the vast majority of my list is action figures, but there are 2 things on this list that I would say are not action figures. So we'll discuss that a little bit also.
That's fair. But like no video games, no video board games or anything like that. I am starting with, I remember watching the show. I just love these toys. I feel like I had like every toy from this property. And that is Biker Mice from Mars, Mike. I don't know if you watched this growing up, but it was so fucking cool because they were badass fucking Mike. They were all fucking done up in like jackets and vests and all this shit.
Alien
but then they
antennas.
And they had these awesome fucking motorcycles that they had. And I remember the villain was like this mad scientist, and it was just so cool. Like all these fucking toys. And I think there was a video game too, but I don't even think I played the video game. But these toys, I played with them.
And I've not played it yet either. But I have it on my emulator, and I'm gonna try it at some point. I believe it's supposed to be like Rock and Roll Racing. Do you know of that game? It's kind of like an isometric racing game. So it's not even like, it's not like a beat 'em up like you would have with a lot of these, but it's just them racing their fucking motorcycles.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because the big thing was the motorcycles, and these things, I mean, it was almost like a weapon. These fucking motorcycles. They were so cool, so sturdy, and the toys were such great quality because you're getting, now it's a little bit of the later 90s, and so the quality of toys really started to ramp up, and so this is my number 10.
So that did not make my list. It did make my honorable mention, and I had so many of those figures. I had like the villain where like his face like popped off and he was like some kind of alien underneath. And I did not have the playset, but that playset, it was like a layer or something.
Yeah.
And I remember
I had the playset.
They had like a basketball hoop that you could like shoot out.
You're right.
Shit.
Mike,
I
had
like
that.
Basketballs that are projectiles. I wish I had that.
I had that. That was awesome. Great. You just unlocked the whole fucking memory of that basketball hoop.
But yeah, I remember this so well. The show, it was short-lived, but I remember enjoying it. And now they have like new versions of Biker Mice from Mars that like you go to Walmart. If you go to like the video game section of Walmart where they have kind of like some toys and Funko Pops and stuff, you could probably find them there. But they're pretty cool looking. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. My number 10, this is a property that I was obsessed with. The movie, the figures, the video game. It's my favorite Disney movie of all time, Aladdin.
See, sorry to cut you off, Mike. I had that in my honorable mention. I comboed it, Lion King and Aladdin.
Yes, Lion King is in my honorable mention. I loved both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I played with the Aladdin more though, and I was more of an Aladdin fan than Lion King, but I love both.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
But I just like the figures were so great. They had a couple different play sets. They had like the Cave of Wonders where like you go in and like
so cool.
The boulders can like drop from the ceiling and fall on the guy, and they had one that was like I think the end like the palace where like Jafar turns into like the evil genie and shit. I think there was a place set for that. And literally just every like major character in that show, they had a figure for it. They had a bunch of different genies, and it kind of reminded me of like something we'll talk about in a little while, I'm sure, TMNT, where they like had different turtles and disguises and stuff. But it was so great. I love the movie. The video game, especially the Sega Genesis version, is one of the greatest video games probably of all time. So I was just fully invested in Aladdin at this time.
Dude, and the quality of those figures were so nice. It's Disney, so you know you have to have good figures. And I just remember getting every so I have a good story about this actually, Mike. Well, sort of. This is, we're getting around the holiday times, and my parents are getting us all these toys, me and my brother. And my brother is 7 years older than me, and I had like a toy sword. Right, like a plastic sword, like a ninja sword.
Yeah, I had like a million of those fucking things.
And I accidentally hit my brother in the eye with it. It was total accident, but we were like playing, and it was total accident. But earlier I was like, oh, I want like all my presents and this and that. And they were so mad at me for doing that like the punishment was, here's all your fucking presents, go in your room and like be alone. And
oh my god, was that on Christmas?
I think it was before.
Okay.
And so I just remember they were being like upset, but also I had all these fucking toys, and it was a whole Aladdin line, like every single thing you could think of the figures.
So you didn't give a fuck that you poked your brother in the eye because you got to play with
I felt bad because I felt really bad, but that was like the punishment, was getting all the toys. Early.
I feel like that's not a good punishment.
But that was the memory of getting all of those toys.
That definitely not, because like you'd probably be like, okay, next time I do it, I'm gonna get more presents. So
no, like you're old enough to know like I like hurt my brother. But yeah, I loved all those action figures.
They were incredible.
So Mike, number 9, sticking with Disney. I don't know if you watch this show, but you're a hockey guy, and this is it wasn't even like long lived, but I was like obsessed with this show, and they had unbelievable action figures. The Mighty Ducks.
Yep.
The cartoon.
I did watch that show a little bit. I'll be honest though, there's just some like I had most stuff from most figure lines during that time.
Mm-hmm.
There would be a couple that would slip through the cracks. So like I never had a Street Shark, and I wish I had because I fucking Street Sharks are awesome.
Yeah.
But I never had like any of the regular figures of the Mighty Ducks, or maybe I had like one or two, but I definitely didn't have a lot of them. I remember having like the McDonald's toys.
Yes, I had all those also. Cool those were very cool, but the original Mighty Ducks action figures, these things were fucking huge for like that time period. Like they were sturdier than Biker Mice because they had all the pads, they had hockey sticks, then they had the goalie came with a fucking goal. Like it was just so awesome, and I was just obsessed with this show. It was probably like less than a year, but I had every single line. They were so cool, and I love the Mighty Ducks, the actual movies, and just such a fucking badass logo. Probably, I mean, easily my favorite. That and like the Sharks, favorite hockey logos of all time. Just so cool. And these action figures were just such high quality. And they were like double the size of like the Aladdin figure, maybe triple the size of the Aladdin figures.
Yeah,
they
were
awesome.
Huge.
And I mean, I had my Biker Mice from Mars, for example, like for longer, but when Mighty Ducks hit, like it fucking hit for me. It was so cool. I even got like my best friend to get into it, and then he had all the fucking it was awesome.
Yeah. If I could go back in time, that's definitely like, it's like get more of a toy line that you didn't really have. That would be up there because those are so cool. And it's amazing like what they did just with basically a logo and like a property, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Not only do you have a hockey team, you have amazing movies, and you have this cartoon and figure line, and like there's nothing else I can think of that they really that is
No.
comparable to that, which is pretty cool.
So cool.
It's a power of Disney, I guess.
Hell yeah.
My number 9 is a first non-action figure entry into this list. Creepy crawlers. I think I've made my love for creepy crawlers known before, like in our gift drafts that we do every year for Christmas. I'm pretty sure I've drafted this a time or two, but
That's
I
funny.
played with creepy crawlers so much. For people that don't really know, creepy crawlers, it's basically like the boy version of Easy Bake Oven, and it was like an orange oven, and it comes with molds of bugs. And you have either like stuff you can put in there, and you make like rubber bugs of any color you want. You can put all kinds of different color combinations in. You can play with these. So it kind of is like not necessarily an action figure, but I mean it's like a kind of tangible toy that you can play with.
You're creating your own thing.
But then there were also edible ones where you could like
that.
squirt in edible, and you basically are eating like your own fruit snacks that you made, like your own colors and stuff like that. But you could have like, centipedes and fucking wasps and all kinds of crazy shit, spiders.
Scorpions.
Scorpions, 100%. And it was just, I don't know, I feel like I probably made 1,000 of these fucking bugs, like, for whatever reason. I just loved them, and it was just, it's one of the things that sticks most in my memory from, like, playing with toys in the 90s.
That is a great choice. So, it's such a 90s thing. I never had it, but I had a friend, and we went over to his house often enough where I would just come home with so many creepy crawlers. I had so many, but we never had that.
Right.
So it doesn't crack my top 10, but I remember going to that friend's house, and we would just spend like fucking over an hour, 2 hours, like making creepy crawlers. Like you said, you could put the different dye in for different coloring, and that was a fucking cool product.
It was cool. I love it.
My number 8, Space Jam figures, Mike.
Good choice.
Space Jam hits.
That's on my honorable mention. I'll say that.
I love these figures so much. I mean, you're talking about peak 90s of Michael Jordan, the fucking best ever, coolest athlete ever, just a fucking idol. Really starting to get into sports even more, loving basketball. The movie is unbelievable. I love Looney Tunes, love all the players in that movie, and I just remember that holiday season getting like every single Space Jam action figure, and it was the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, Space Jam is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time because I just watched it so much as a kid. Who doesn't like Looney Tunes, and who doesn't like Michael Jordan in basketball?
So cool.
And the toy line was amazing. Like I had the 3-pack of Michael Jordan, like his 3 different things. He was a basketball player and a golfer and a baseball player.
I didn't have that one.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then it was just awesome how they had like the combinations of like the Looney Tunes with so you had Michael Jordan, but like they had Patrick Ewing, I know.
Yeah,
they
I had all of it, man.
Charles Barkley, I know. So you get like a few of the different players. Yep, there was a spaceship like accessory that came with like the little aliens.
I had the little aliens. I don't think I had the spaceship.
Yeah, and they even had like some large large Michael Jordans that you, like could dress up and shit like that. So they had.
I remember seeing that at Toys R Us.
Yeah, they had a lot of toys and products for this, and rightfully so.
Cool. Yeah, I loved Space Jam. So like you said, one of the best movies ever.
My number 8 is Batman the Animated Series. I think today, I don't know what the view of it was at the time, but I feel like it's almost gained popularity today because like they have like new versions of the Batman the Animated Series toys that look awesome. But Batman is obviously so huge, but I think people look back on it now and they're like, it was like a revolutionary type of cartoon at the time because it was like very dark and it was unlike the typical child's cartoon at the time. But it was amazing. Like I remember watching it like every day coming home from school and just being locked in on it. And the thing that was so great about this figure line is you had everything you want. You had like a million different versions of Batman, like his different suits. You had Robin, you had your heroes. And then there was so many, like every villain from the show that you could think of was in this. And I like just like kind of the off the wall ones, like Clayface was an amazing figure. Killer Croc, guys like that. Were so cool. You had the Batmobile, you had his Batwing, and you had the Batcave / Wayne Manor, which was such a good playset. It had like his own like that kind of headquarters where you watch all the screens and stuff like that. So you could do so much shit with that. And fun fact, like a couple months ago at a thrift store, I found a Batman animated series Batcave for like $5, and I bought
That's
it.
crazy. Hell, you gotta buy it.
It was missing like a couple of like pieces from the inside, so it wasn't complete. But for the most part, no, if you just looked at it and you didn't know any better, you would think it was totally fine, and it's cool as hell. So for $5, I couldn't believe that I found that, because you never find like vintage 90s toys in general, but to find that was so cool, and it brought me back instantly.
That's very cool. I wasn't really into Batman animated series growing up. I love the movies, but
me too.
like the action movies.
Yeah, I like the movie figures too, but they weren't as cool. I feel like the Batman 89 and figures and stuff weren't quite as cool in advance as like the animated series ones were.
Yeah. So I never got into that, but I remember going to Toys R Us and it would just be a fucking wall of Batman. But I never got into that. I got into Batman, like the animated series, as an adult, because it's on Max. It's a fucking great show.
Yep. 100%. I watched the Christmas one around Christmas time this year. Christmas with the Joker. I love that episode.
That's a good one. All right, my number 7. Like now, starting with number 7 is when we really get into like the heavy hitters for me growing up.
Yep.
This property was a little past my time. It was one of my brothers, so we actually had a ton that he had growing up. Then once I got into it with the 90s line, it was like just a combo, and there were so many G.I. Joe all over the house. And I'm comboing this. I'm going to cheat a little bit, Mike. G.I. Joe, I'm mixing in the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat lines, because they were basically the same thing.
Right. So I was not a regular G.I. Joe guy at all, because like that's so stuff that was like from the mid 80s and before, I wasn't really like, if it was late 80s, I could get into it. Like Food Fighters was technically like a late 80s thing. I fucking love Food Fighters. Didn't make my list because it was from the late 80s, not 90s. Love Food Fighters, but I feel like G.I. Joe was a little before my time. Masters of the Universe was a little before my time. Transformers was a little before my time. So I just never. I had some G.I. Joes. I have specifically the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter ones on my honorable mention, though. I had all of those, and those were amazing.
Same. Those are so cool, especially growing up in the 90s. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were two of the greatest video games of all time, and these things, they just took over. So getting action figures of those, of players, of the characters I'm fighting with in the game, I was like, this is so fucking cool. But G.I. Joe, I have to cheat a little bit here, Mike, because a few of the ones I love were from the 80s. But
they probably reproduced them in the 90s too, though.
They did, but they weren't as cool as the ones we had from the 80s. So like Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, then I had Dice, Slice, Viper, Iceberg, Cobra Commander, such a cool figure. My aunt and uncle, once they learned that I got into G.I. Joe, they got me this thing called the Patriot. It was this fucking awesome tank. And my brother had the USS flag aircraft carrier and a submarine thing called the Night Striker. These things were fucking huge, Mike. It was so cool.
That's like the holy grail of G.I. Joe like items that everybody wants to have, because that thing is fucking massive. It takes up like probably your whole play space that you could have, and
insane.
Then there's so many pieces that would be easy to lose on that shit too, but that's crazy.
It was fucking awesome. So G.I. Joe, very cool.
My number 7, it's my second and my final non-action figure related thing, but I think it's quintessential 90s for a toy. I'm going with Super Soaker.
Oh man, great fucking choice.
There's a lot of like
think about that.
Variants of Super Soakers. The one that sticks out to me though is the classic. It's like the greenish kind of like tube that you put the water in, and it's orange and white, and like there was nothing better for whatever reason. Like I had like probably a million water guns, but that Super Soaker was better than all of them. It had like the freaking water pressure, and you would just destroy people with that thing after a few pumps. It was amazing. Had so many like water wars with my friends in the yard, and then we'd do that. We'd have fucking toy guns and swords and shit, and it was just like an all out war.
Hell yeah.
Such good memories of that. One thing I'll say, like, do you remember the thing? It was like, I just remember the commercials. I never had it, where like you could like tell the thing to fire and it would shoot water or whatever. You would like command it. No. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
It wasn't a gun, right? It was something.
It wasn't a gun. It was like attached to your head, and you'd be like,
Oh,
fire, and the thing was like supposed to shoot water at somebody.
No.
I don't know if that was Super Soaker or not, or if that was like a different company. I never had it. Years later, I heard like it didn't really work that good at all, so it's probably best I didn't have it. But I just remember the commercials for that too, like just like water guns and stuff in general. That's some of like the most fun things you could play with as a kid.
Very cool. Now you mention it though, just a kind of similar thing, but Nerf guns.
Yes, that's definitely
Super
in the
Soakers and Nerf
conversation,
guns
too.
were
Mhm.
huge in our house, and we would go outside and we would set up GI Joes like on the fence and shoot it down with like Nerf
Yeah,
guns.
That's
was
very
very
cool.
That's a great one. Super Soakers are great. My number 6, Mike, I don't know if you were into this show, but I like got all my friends into this. Beast Wars.
Mm.
And I was like you, Transformers was before my time. We had a couple of Transformers. Like, remember, I guess I wasn't really into it, but we had a couple, and I was like, these things aren't that cool. I don't really like it.
Right.
And Beast Wars, though, now you're in the 90s. The fucking show was unbelievable, and the action figures were so intricate and high quality. I was all over these things. The Transmetal Cheetor and Optimus Primal, thing called Wolfgang that kind of resemble a pet that we had. Megatron, Rattrap, like these things were so fucking cool. They weren't the easiest to transform though, so a lot of times I would be like, all right, you're now transformed and I'm not transforming you back into an animal.
Right.
But I love these things. I got all my friends into it. It was such a cool property. I love Beast Wars so much.
Yeah, I never really had any Transformers. I didn't have the Beast Wars. I remember them on the shelves though, and thinking they were cool, and like thinking like if I was gonna have Transformers, like I would want them to be the Beast Wars rather than like regular Transformers because they're way cooler. And they have new versions out now, and I'll go down the toy aisle and I'll see them.
Oh,
I'll be like,
shit.
I'll be like, those are still pretty cool. But I don't need to be
so
like
cool.
collecting more random shit that present day toys. But yeah, I those were very cool. I'd never had them, but I wouldn't mind having some if I could. And that actually just reminded me, because you mentioned the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat G.I. Joes. There's new like Street Fighter figures that are out. I don't know if you've seen these.
No.
I think they're made by they're called a company called Jada Toys. They're basically like if you had like a current day like Mattel WWE wrestler, like with all the articulation and stuff, but it's Street Fighter. I have to stop myself every time I see them on the shelves from buying them, because it's like from our Street Fighter, like Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Turbo and stuff, like those characters, dude, they're amazing.
That's so cool.
My number 6 is maybe a figure line that I had the most of outside of wrestling when I was a kid, and that's X-Men. I feel like X-Men ran throughout the entire 90s, the toy line.
Yeah, higher on my list, Mike.
Yeah, and you know what? If I redid my list on another day, it probably would be higher on my list. Like it's kind of interchangeable with a lot of things because there's so much that I liked. But I had so many of them. Like within the last year, I got like a tote out of my grandma's basement, and a lot of my old X-Men were in there. I showed you pictures of them. I mean,
that was awesome.
It was very cool to be able to see those again. But I just had so many of them. Every character you could imagine from the show, and the show is one of the greatest animated series of all time.
Absolutely.
Without question. And to have like the figures of all of them. The arcade game is one of the greatest video games of all time. So I was playing, that at the arcade all the time. And I was just like entrenched in X-Men at this time. And I had so many cool, like, they had like the ship that you could have. They had the Sentinel.
Blackbird. We had that. Oh, the Sentinel. Oh my God. Crown jewel.
And they had such cool actions too, like the Cyclops, you could touch a thing and it looked like he was shooting like laser out of his eyes. Or they had like the Magneto that was like, I think had like a magnetic thing on him.
Yes, I had that.
Yeah. They were ahead of their time because there were not really toys that are doing action and stuff like that. So it was special when you go to like Toys R Us and get a friggin' new X-Men figure. And I had probably 100 of them.
I will be talking more about X-Men in a bit.
Love it.
My number 5, Mike, is Star Wars, specifically the 1995 to 1996 lines. I have a bunch of the figures listed here. I love Star Wars so much at this time. Cause Star Wars really was my brother's thing. Like he was into, Master of the Universe, G.I. Joe, but Star Wars was the biggest fucking thing in the
There was no
80s.
Star Wars in terms of new movies for us. Until we were a little older, you know?
Right. And so it wasn't, this is several years before I was getting into like that movie, but I started to get into Star Wars because my dad was just like, hey, you want to see a cool movie? And he puts on Star Wars and I was hooked. I was like, oh my God, this is like mind blowing. And so then I started getting into the toys, specifically the black outfit, Return of the Jedi Luke. There was a Hoth costume for Luke and Han Solo. There was a Stormtrooper Luke that you could take the helmet on and off, which I love because
I remember that.
you only get so many Stormtroopers to have. And I was like, okay, I need another Stormtrooper, put the fucking helmet on.
Yeah,
no?
he can double.
Double exactly.
Duty.
So it was like two toys in one, right? The Darth Vader was so fucking awesome because my brother, he's in the 80s, so they had the 80s line. They had like everything. And my dad even had a couple like boxed that they never opened up as like, collector's item. And getting the 90s line, though, these action figures were such better quality. They were more sturdy. They were like, Darth Vader's like fucking ripped.
Yep. They were all like way more ripped than the original figures.
It was so much better.
It's an action figure, so.
Hell yeah. There was a Luke Dagobah training figure, Chewbacca, Endor Gear, Han Solo, Boba Fett. I don't know if you know about
like
this one,
the big
Mike.
things too, like the Jabba, the Mantha,
we had that.
and all that shit.
What is that thing that Luke kills in Return of the Jedi? That massive fucking like ogre looking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but we had that.
Yeah.
There was one was cool is Imperial Guard disguised Luke, where he's in this whole red getup. And the helmet also came on and off. Very cool. Lando, the Jawas, Yoda, the droids. Had a bunch of vehicles and play sets, the Millennium Falcon. And even though, Mike, I was phasing out of action figures when Phantom Menace came out, I just remember as soon as that came out, going to Toys R Us, and it was just a sea of action figures. And right after seeing Phantom Menace, going to Toys R Us and being like, I need to buy a Darth Maul action figure.
Yep.
And just immediately had to get it, and like, we also got like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But the Darth Maul, I was like, this is one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen with the dual lightsaber. I was like, holy shit. So I had to go get a Darth Maul, even though I was phasing out of action figures.
So Star Wars is on my honorable mention. That didn't make my list, and the only reason is because like I didn't get into it until like the very end of when I was getting like figures and playing with them and stuff. Because what really got me into it was Episode 1 coming out, Phantom Menace, and it was like mass hysteria, the figures coming out, because it was the first new Star Wars movie in like well over a decade at that point. And I just remember going to Toys R Us, and like it was the biggest like section of all like Phantom Menace figures you could ever imagine. And I got all those, and that got me into like buying like the Power of the Force is what I think you were mostly describing for the ones you had. That's like what the line was called. The 90s Star Wars figures, Power of the Force. And I was getting those too, like, Luke and Han Solo and Darth Vader and all them, and playing with those. And I had a great time with it. The only thing was, it was probably only like a year, and then I was kind of out of them. So if I had them for longer and play with them for longer, I would have had it on the list. But those were awesome. And the cool thing about like Power of the Force is if you want those figures, you can go into any like old toy shop now and find a million of them, and they're probably not more than like $5. So like if you want to just collect them now today, it's not going to cost you that much to do it.
Pretty sweet.
My number 5 is really, it was more of an adult collectible, but I enjoyed them and played with them. And starting lineup sports figures. Really, starting lineup, I think, is kind of the gateway that to me loving sports and being obsessed with sports the way that I became and am. Because, my dad was a huge sports guy, probably wanted me to be hugely into sports. And I think that was kind of like a good way to introduce me into them because, I love action figures. So here's some, football action figures or hockey or basketball or baseball. And that really helped get me into sports and become a huge fan. And like, there were so many, like there's countless starting lineup figures. There's probably thousands of unique starting lineup figures out there. Yeah. People were buying them at the time and putting them away and thinking that they're going to be worth something. For the most part, they're worthless unless you're talking the ones that came out in like 88, 89. the early ones, there's some that are worth a lot because some of them were regional and couldn't be found all around the country. So there are some that are valuable, but for the most part, if you have starting lineups in your attic that you have been collecting dust, probably not really worth anything. But I still liked them because it was just a cool representation of all the athletes of the time of the 90s. You know, you weren't going to get another action figure of freaking Barry Bonds or Ken Griffey Jr. or Deion Sanders or John Elway. Like, that's how you got them, and I think it was cool, and it's still cool today. And if I see them for $1 or $2, if I'm at like some kind of show or like a toy shop or something like that, I'll get them, and that's another cool thing. Just like the Star Wars, you can get them for dirt cheap and still collect them today.
I never got into the starting lineup stuff. I
feel like most kids were not, but I was.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Even my brother didn't have that either. I feel like the Space Jam was kind of like that for me.
Yeah.
Even though it was really just Michael Jordan and the other players. But yeah, never got into the starting lineup. I remember going to Toys R Us and always seeing and like Modell's, there'd just be so many starting lineups, and it was almost like overwhelming. It's like
there was a store called Hills that was here. I don't know exactly where it was in the country. I know it was based in Pittsburgh, so I think it was more of like a Northeast store, but I wish that store still existed. It was such a good store, and they had frickin' millions of starting lineups and wrestling figures and everything you could imagine. Nothing like that today. You go into like a Walmart, it's like disheveled. The toy section looks like shit. No pride these days of toy ownership. It's very sad.
All right, my number 4. See, my top 5 basically is, I just kind of almost went like chronological order, to be honest.
Yeah, mine could go in any number of directions, realistically.
Because, like, at any point in time, if that's what I was playing with, that was like the most important fucking thing to me.
Yeah.
So I really just went like chronological order, and I thought that would be fairest. So my number 4 is the Spider-Man line. Spider-Man and Wolverine are my 2 favorite superheroes of all time. I love the Spider-Man cartoon, the video games. I had an action figure though, Mike, that was like the holy grail of all my action figures. It was the flexible Spider-Man. I was the first one of all my friends that have this. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't remember how many points of articulation it was, but it was like so far ahead of its time because there was
incredible.
never a figure like that before.
I was the first one of my friends to have it, and my best friend was like so jealous. He eventually got one for Christmas, and it just wasn't the same as like the original one that I had. For some reason, whatever like that first print of this action figure was like fucking perfection. The black suit Spider-Man was awesome. Venom. We had different Venom lines. I had one from the 90s. I had one that my brother had that you could like put like stuff into it, and like it was like
spewed water, right?
It was just something. I like its fucking chest. It was fucking crazy. And Maximum Carnage. Love that whole comic book line and the arc and the TV show.
And the game.
And the game was just, I mean, that was like the greatest thing of all time.
The red cartridge. I
love it so much. And Maximum Carnage, so that figure was just so cool. So those, like Spider-Man, some of my favorite figures. Black Cat was very cool. So that is like easily top 4 for me.
It kind of disgusts me that I did not put it on my top 10. It's literally my first honorable mention, and like again, if I change my list like a week from now, it could easily be on the list somewhere. The way I kind of looked at it is like I played with them, like with the X-Men, with the Batman. There's a lot of intermixing and all out wars going on, and I kind of want to just be able to talk about like something a little bit less like Aladdin toys. Like nobody really talks about those, but I play with them, probably just as much. But Spider-Man could easily be on my list. Like had like the Daily Bugle playset, which was so cool. I remember it came with, like,
never had that. That's
it came with some kind of like slime that you could like dump out onto the people. It probably got all over the fucking place, but it was very cool. But that line was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of my number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I assume you have that higher.
Significantly higher.
Okay. Like I said, like this could be 1 really, and there was a period in my life where it probably was number 1 because that's what I play with the most. But one of the greatest toy lines of all time by far. And I just watched not only was there a Toys That Made Us episode on Netflix of TMNT good. That's fantastic. I don't know if you've heard of the show on History Channel. It's called The Toys That Built America. There's a really good episode, and it's a combo episode of Turtles and Power Rangers together.
Holy shit.
it talks about a lot of the same stuff like as the toys that made us, but there's some different stuff, and it's a good watch. It's only, an hour or whatever.
Hell yeah.
But just it's amazing like how this became the property it became. Like it started from nothing and it became just a sensation. And the toy line was so great. Anything you could think of from the show, from the comic book, got made into a figure. Every turtle, and then one of the most fun parts of it was all the variations of the turtles. Like they became like Universal Monsters, or they're like the sports stars with the one like kind of supposed to be in a Michael Jordan jersey.
Had all that.
Yep, stuff like that. Just the turtles in disguise and all that random shit. And that was brilliant to like, how can I get somebody to buy a 10th Michelangelo? Okay, I'll put him in this thing. And then the vehicles are some of the greatest vehicles in the history of toys. You know what? I never even was lucky enough to have the sewer or the Technodrome.
I had those.
But I had some of the smaller ones, and I had the pizza thrower, which I still think is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And you could literally destroy some shit with that pizza thrower. It had such velocity on it. Such a good line, man.
Yeah, I will talk more about Ninja Turtles. Such an amazing line. My number 3, you mentioned it, X-Men. Again, going chronological order of my life, once X-Men hit and really hit, like the animated cartoon show, which is so good, the 90s cartoon show. Because my brother had X-Men toys too. But then again, when it comes to the quality of the 90s action figures, they were just significantly better than what you were getting in the 80s, where they were just thinner and flimsier. And I just remember like mixing my brother's toys to the line that I was getting, and I was like, it's just not the same. And I love one of my favorite action figures of all time is the space suit Wolverine when they were going for the Phoenix arc. It was so fucking cool. There was a Gambit action figure that there was a line that they came out with where these were just such higher quality and sturdier figures where like,
that was like later on, I remember.
Yes. And you could like have him hold this thing that would light up of like his cards, and Psylocke had one of like her energy burst.
Yeah, that was in the same line I was gonna say, because I remember having that Psylocke too.
It was the same line, and this Psylocke figure was so cool. It's one of my favorite action figures. Rogue was awesome. Iceman, they had one that wasn't like this flimsy one from the 80s or early 90s, but there was one that he had like these fucking icicles on him, all over him, and he was fucking just ripped. It was awesome. Magneto. Again, just one that was just awesome with a fucking amazing cape that he was able to wear.
They had
X-Men
like tall versions of the figures too. I don't know if you remember that. Like
they did.
Like
I didn't really have those. I had ones that were more.
I had some. They're actually pretty cool.
You mean so they were like more of like the size like the Sentinel?
It was like a 12, it was like a 12-inch figure. So like you couldn't play with it with the Sentinel because obviously that's like way out of scale. Like I don't know how other kids play, but like that would bother me. I wouldn't I can't
absolutely.
have a giant Gambit against a giant Sentinel because it makes no sense.
That's why I enjoyed when my toys were of the same type.
Right, that's why you could play X-Men and Spider-Man and shit together.
Yes, exactly.
They were the same scale.
And the Sentinel, you mentioned it earlier, but that Sentinel was so fucking cool. I loved it so much. I had that also.
Yep.
And like you said, the Blackbird, like X-Men X-Men is still one of my favorite properties of anything ever. I love it so much.
Absolutely. My number 3, it's a wrestling podcast. We're finally gonna talk about wrestling.
Oh, okay.
It's WWF Jack's Bone Crunching Action.
Oh, that line.
Yes. So
interesting.
I don't know. You had to, if you didn't know anything about this line, you just looked at the figures now, you'd be like, this kind of looks like shit. And but for the time, now, it's kind of how I feel. For the time, you had to be there for how huge this was, because this is like the most advanced wrestling figure there ever was at that time. There was, it started in America, at least, started with the AWA Remcos, and those were like kind of He-Man type figures. And then you had the LJN, and those were like rubber, no articulation. The Hasbros, which were amazing, but they were smaller, hard plastic. The Bone Crunching Action, that's like your introduction to the 6-inch action figure in pro wrestling, which is like the standard today. This is that's what it is, and what it'll probably always continue to be now. This was the introduction of it, and it was so much easier to play with than any wrestling figure before, because it had like rubbery like limbs, so you could do the moves, and it had a bone crunch in action, hence the name, where like you can move like the elbow or like the knee up and down and make a crunching noise, like you're crunching the guy's bones.
I get it. That's cool.
Which was also cool, but I didn't even use that much. I just really liked. I had 5-star matches galore. Meltz would have been, his eyes would have been bugging out of his fucking head seeing the matches
funny.
I was putting on with these Jack's bone crunching figures. And it was also huge because Hasbro and WWF license ends in 94, and it's not till 96 that these come out, so people are like starving for these types of action figures. 95, you just have the Bendums figures. Like every property at the time had a Bendum, which was just a little rubbery thing, and you bend the arms and legs. Hard to play with, though. These were legit action figures, and they lasted from like 96 to around 2000, and that's around basically when I was done playing with action figures. So that was a good run. It had pretty much all the big guys you could want from that time period in wrestling figure form, like into the and throughout the Attitude Era. Mix them all together and had some of the most epic friggin' pay-per-views you could put on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Some of my best memories were playing with those.
I'll talk about wrestling figures a little later. But I never had any of those. Yeah, I mean, you saying like it's like how big of a deal it is, like that's important context. Because like I remember my friends when they got into wrestling, I think it was the Jax line with like the Titantron.
Right, yeah, Titantron.
Right? It was
That's
more like
what came
Attitude
out
Era.
after the Jack's Bone Crunch action,
Okay.
and like I got some of them, and like the Titantron was very cool because like it was amazing. Like you could put them on the thing and it played their theme music, but the figures just didn't hit the same as the BCAs
Gotcha.
did.
Okay.
And I was older too, so I wasn't as into
true.
it as I would have been,
My number 2, Mike, again, chronological order in my life. When this hit, it was just the coolest thing since Ninja Turtles, and that is Power Rangers. And
I have the exact same. That's my number 2.
At number 2? All right, so let's talk about it, Mike, because Power Rangers was such an influential thing on my life.
It was. You cannot
over.
explain to somebody
Yeah.
how it took the country by storm when it happened.
It really did. And I'll just say it right now, Ninja Turtles is my number 1, and you needed Ninja Turtles first to then get the Power Rangers, especially for me, because it solidified the love of ninjas, really. Like, I mean, everything ninja, I was all about it. Like,
that's
3
that's
ninjas,
90s,
sidekicks, it was just the coolest fucking thing were ninjas. And Power Rangers, you're a little bit older now from Ninja Turtles, and you're seeing these teenagers who, they're all fucking awesome. They're like the coolest people except for Billy.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, fucking. But like the Black Ranger, the Green Ranger, the Red Ranger, these are my favorite action figures. Goldar, Lord Zed. I loved one of my favorite action figures, not so much like on the show, but my favorite villain figures was the King Sphinx.
Yes, I had that.
Just so
absolutely.
cool. I
liked Pudgy Pig because they had like these little discs, kind of like the pizza thrower. They had like these little discs you could put it in his mouth and you like shoot him out.
I never had that one. These
Goldar
ones,
insane.
Goldar. These ones are like these were bigger, action figures compared to like the Spider-Man, X-Men figures. And I had some that were smaller, where you could like flip their head, and now it's Kimberly.
Yes, those are the ones I primarily had. I did have some of like the bigger ones too. The head flip in action was like, dude, I'd never seen anything like that before when that came out.
Very cool. I had the Megazord, the Thunder Megazord, the Dragon Zord, Titanus. Yep. I don't know if you remember the Tor Shovel Zord. It was
it's like
a tortoise. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had it, but I think I remember it from like commercials because I had like a bunch of Power Rangers VHS tapes. Obviously, and you're watching like the show on TV, but the VHS tape, it would always start with like the commercials for the toys to get the kids obviously fucking hyped on them to like go tell their parents to get them. And they were like the most insane toy. Them and WWF Hasbro had the best toy commercials of the time because it would just get you
so awesome.
pumped as a kid and you like had to have them. But every freaking Zord and shit that they would show on those, I'd be like, oh my god.
Had to have it. We had the White Tiger Zord, the Falcon Zord.
Dragon Zord.
I had Dragon Zord. You had the Red Dragon Zord.
I did not have a Red Dragon
fucking
Zord.
An insane. It was a massive fucking Zord. The Ninja Megazord.
I had that.
I had all the ones from like the very first movie that they came out with.
Yeah,
and then
I
I had
love
like
that movie.
Dr. Ooze or whatever the fuck his name was.
Ivan Ooze, yeah.
Ivan Ooze, yeah. Had those. So those, like, they had, I think it was McDonald's, I'm pretty sure, had action figures from the movie that was
Those
so
are some of the best McDonald's like toys of all time because they're like
Hell yeah,
actual
like,
legitimate figures.
That movie was, I love that movie so much, still to this day.
Me too.
I will admit that when it got to like the Alien, Power Rangers, like that's when I fell off. But then I started to get back into a little bit, with the Zeo series, because you still had like the original people, and there was an episode, Mike, with the Gold Ranger, and everyone was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And it came out that it was Jason. The original Red Ranger came back as the Gold Ranger. Now I know what you're thinking, Gold Ranger, so it's all gold. No, he was all black with like a gold trim on his face. And I remember Tommy, when he was the Green Ranger, had like this like vest over him, like a shield
like that
over his
shield
chest.
thing. Yep.
Gold Ranger had something like that, which was all black with this gold trim. I was like, this is a fucking awesome figure, and it was the size of the flipping head ones. So I was like, I gotta get that, because it was just so fucking cool. Power Rangers, there was nothing like it, because there were so many, like you said, you had ones that were more of like the flipping heads, those are smaller. I had those and the ones that were bigger. One story before I let you go, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, Power Rangers, coolest fucking thing. And it was hard to get these. A lot of times.
100%. I
right?
mean, they were selling out like before they even hit the shelves, pretty much.
Before they even hit shelves. So one day we're at fucking Toys R Us, me and my dad, and it's like impossible to get a fucking Power Ranger. My dad just goes to the guy, goes, "Hey, when do you get like a shipment and this and that?" And the guy goes, "Well, on Sunday we're supposed to get something." He goes, "Here's," fuck, like he bribes him, I guess. Gonna meet you before Toys R Us opens. Gonna meet you in the parking lot.
People used to do fucking shady deals like that.
Yeah. But, I mean, what my dad was doing.
If you're the beneficiary, good.
Figure. Hell yeah. And fucking before Toys R Us, even though it was like a fucking drug deal.
Yep.
Guy hands my dad a bag of fucking Power Ranger toys. It wasn't even like a lot. I think it was like 2, right? But it was just to make sure he was able to get me a fucking Power Ranger toy. And we fucking got it. And my dad still to this day, Mike, I forget exactly which Ranger, but there is a Ranger boxed and the Megazord, the original Megazord from the very first line in a box. And he's like,
that's gotta be a good investment. I don't know what they go for these days.
I don't know what it is, if it'll ever be an investment, but he goes, this is for whenever the time comes, that hopefully this is an investment. So we still have that. My brother and my dad still have Star Wars action figures from the original line that are still in the box. So that was a story. I'll also never forget one more story. Power Rangers, coolest fucking thing. So hard to get. And there was a day where it was pouring torrential rain, Mike. And my mom is like sick as a dog. Calls up to every fucking store. Anyone have fucking toys? And they were like, finally one like local store was like, we're going to have toys at this time. Everyone wants to be online. You have to get like the fucking number. Like it was mayhem. And my mom,
it was like getting a game console on launch day. That's how Power Rangers
on
were.
crack. My mom, sick as hell, goes out in the fucking rain, comes back, and what is she coming back with, Mike? A putty. Now, it's like, of all things, like that's what you had to go out for. But I still remember that story to this day. I tell it all the time. And it was like, but it meant so much. And first off, I didn't have a
putty though, just like you needed a foot.
You absolutely needed a putty. Exactly. And I didn't have one. So I was like, this is amazing, Mom. Thank you so much. But it was like the irony of like, you're sick as hell going out in the pouring rain and what you come back with is a putty. But it was like, it's like you said, you had to have one and I needed that one. And it didn't matter what she came back with. I was like, that is fucking parenthood, like 101. Do whatever you can for your kid. And that's what my parents did for me.
I have a similar story to the one you told about your dad without the potential illegalities involved, but like I just remember somehow, I don't know how, like my dad got a lead on that there was going to be like a bunch of figures or something like that.
For Power Rangers?
Yeah, Power Rangers.
Nice.
I don't remember. It might have been Hills that I mentioned before, because I know Hills had layaway, and layaway is probably a foreign concept to people these days. But layaway was you basically would
pre-order essentially.
Kind of, you would just kind of like get what you wanted, you bring it back to the layaway counter, they'd put it away for you, so it's on hold, and you make payments. And once your payment is finished, then you get the product that you put on layaway. And my dad just put a shit ton of Power Rangers figures. And one day, once he was able to pay it off, comes home, gigantic fucking cardboard box, open up, and just so many Power Rangers figures. It was like
That's
one of
cool.
the best memories of like toys that I got as a kid.
That's
but
awesome.
You know, I agree with pretty much everything you said about this line. It's one of the most like innovative lines because, you know, you had like, and it mimics the show. For people that don't know the show, you had they would fight like the monsters, and they would be like a normal scale fighting each other, and then Rita would make the monster grow, so then they go into their Zord and they'd fight the giant monster. So you could get little monsters, big monsters, you get the Zords, you get the little Power Rangers, the big Power Rangers, like everything you could imagine, you could get it, and you could like basically just act out what the show was, and the show was the biggest fucking phenomenon for kids at the time. So it was so cool to be able to do that. The movie I loved, a lot of people shit on it, I feel like, but at the time
I
it
love
was like,
that movie so much.
Me too. It was a huge deal that there was a Power Rangers movie going to the movie to see it.
One of the coolest intros to any movie. I don't care what anyone fucking says. Them fucking skydiving, and Tommy has a fucking like snowboard. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
And the video game based on the movie was awesome. I love that game. Just Power Rangers like basically took over my life for a period of time in the 90s, and it was amazing.
Dude, did you have, you mentioned play sets. There was a play set of Zordon's,
like, lair, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I 100% had that, and it had, like, and that was the only way you could get Alpha 5, the little robot figure. That was the only way you could get it, so you had to get this, so you get Alpha 5. Like, it's actually crazy. They never had a Rita figure, and she was such a key person in the show. Never had a Rita figure, but you get the Alpha 5 by getting this, and it had a voice changer on top, and you talk into it, and so you see Zordon, and you know how he had that fucking...
I never used that.
You never used the voice changer?
No.
My God, it was like the greatest thing ever. So you know how like Zordon, he had that weird fucking voice? You speak into the voice changer, it makes you sound like Zordon. So I was like just doing all that. I was probably like saying like cuss words and shit, and to not get caught, and it was just amazing.
That's very funny. I never did that.
Yep. So good.
All right, Mike, my number one, you mentioned it, I mentioned earlier, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My first love, and I just had to go again chronological because it was like the thing that started it all. And Ninja Turtles was just the coolest fucking thing. The movies were unbelievable. I love the first and second one. The third one's over there. But the first and second one, loved so much. I mean, watched it so many times. And always had to have it on, playing with my toys. My parents did so well by me, Mike, because they had I had everything, I feel like. I never had the blimp. My friend had a blimp. Everyone was very jealous of him, but this thing was fucking massive.
They have a new, they have basically new ones that are just made to look exactly like those figures, exactly like the vehicles. And they do have a new blimp, which would be kind of cool to get.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that thing was so fucking big. I don't even know where we would have kept it because it was so massive. But
people that display them sometimes hang them from their ceiling.
That is very cool.
Pretty cool.
That is very cool. But I love specifically, Mike, the Secret of the Ooze movie toys.
The movie toys were very cool. They were so much more realistic looking.
Exactly. They moved better. They felt better. The Super Shredder was so cool. The Foot Clan was infinitely better than the TV show one. Tucker and Razor. I also had an April Ninja newscaster, which
I remember that.
She was basically naked, and I love this action figure. And I think that is what put me on a course of life. I had this awesome Rocksteady that was a boxer, and a Bebop that was a ninja. So those were cool variants. I had the sewer place that you mentioned, the Technodrome, the Mutant Module, the Party Wagon. Ninja Turtles,
the Party Wagon. The news van was cool too. I don't know if you had that.
I don't know if I had. No, I did have a news van.
Yeah,
right? Wasn't it cool? Was it yellow?
I think so, and then there was a special April that it came with.
Because I remember we had so many things, but Ninja Turtles was just unbelievable. The video games were so great, and so, I mean, the comics were cool. My dad collects the comics, and it was all because it was just that was the phenomenon, and that was the first love of anything, and that was the one.
Good choice. Can't argue with it. But my number one, we're gonna end it on a wrestling note. WWF Hasbro, in my opinion, it's the most iconic wrestling figure line of all time, one of the most iconic action figure lines of all time. It's started in 90, ran to 94. Doesn't seem that long, really, but they got so many figures out during that time of, the big stars, and then even, like, random people that you're like, how the hell did this person get a figure? Like Skinner. How did Skinner get a figure? He was, like, hardly even around. Well, he got a figure. Giant Gonzalez, he was probably around for like a year. He got a figure. Like, they put out figures of absolutely everybody, and that was the fun of it. Like, you had so many options for guys. And that's like when I learned, like, I was like doing storylines and playing with these action figures, like making pay-per-view cards, and like if somebody like wasn't really a star in WWE, like if I wanted Skinner to be my fucking world champion, Skinner could be my world champion, and you just book it that way. And I would make up a card. Oh, okay, this is the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and I put 30 figures behind my back and just like, all right, I'm gonna pick this one, and friggin' Bret Hart's number one entrant. Dude, like, such good memories of those, and I think what puts it over the top is, like, still today I have all the WWF Hasbro figures proudly displayed, and
that's cool.
There's new versions of these figures being made today. Like, there's a bunch of different independent companies, like, filling in the gaps of guys who didn't get made, and they're making them, and so I'm getting those, and I'm, like, adding them to my collection, and that makes it even more special, too. And it's just, like, I think it's, of wrestling fans who also had action figures, I think it's viewed as, like, the best ever and the most nostalgic ever, and those are the feelings I have towards them. And, like, the ring, the iconic blue ring, like, you can't think of it without, you can't think of wrestling figures without thinking of that ring. It's just the best. That
is very cool. You were sending pictures that people will hear about in a few months.
Oh, yes, for a future recording we did.
And very jealous. It's a very awesome collection. Having it all on display is one of the things that I've always said to my parents, like, don't throw out my toys. Like, one day I'll have a mansion and I'll display all my fucking toys.
For a long time, I've wanted to do a tour, and I still have not had it, like, organized the way I want to have it.
That'd be
cool. I still have to do it. Yeah.
I do have some honorable mentions.
Our YouTube channel gets exclusive rights to the tour.
We'll see. I might make my own because I don't like you.
That's against the contract.
Go away.
There's no fucking
contract.
Go away.
Come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Mike, I have some honorable mentions here. Remember Pogs?
I do. I had a million of them. I had, like, the full set of Simpsons Pogs, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
I love those.
So Pogs on here. We mentioned Super Soakers and Nerf Guns. Do you remember Bucky O'Hare action figures?
Yes. I had, I think all of them. They were very random. Like, I don't think I ever saw the show necessarily.
Right. I don't think I did either. But I had
there was a comic book and a show, and I played the arcade game, which was actually really good.
I couldn't tell you anything about this property. I just know I had a whole bunch of toys.
There was like a duck, a frog.
Yeah.
And they were all like human-like. Yeah.
He-Man figures were cool. Those are mostly my brother's, like Skeletor, very cool. My brother had like the Skeletor's like castle. It was fucking awesome. But that was He-Man. So I played some He-Man, but it was mostly his. The Hasbro action figures that you mentioned was your number one. I only had like Hulk Hogan, and it looked like he was like body pressing his the motion.
Yeah.
And I had Ted DiBiase. Yeah, I had Ted DiBiase, which I believe, I'm assuming was the second variant because it had I recall him having a green suit.
Green suit, yeah. So first series DiBiase was in a black suit, so that would have been like the second version.
I'm pretty sure it was green, and I loved Ted DiBiase, so I was always having him beat up Hulk Hogan.
Hell yeah.
Mighty Max.
I have Mighty Max on my list.
Yeah.
I love it. Was so like creative. Well, there would be like little like toys and figures inside, and you'd close the lid, and sometimes like let's say
pop out, right?
Right, so it'd pop out like the top of it. So let's say like it was the thing was supposed to be like some kind of animal with an eyeball. Like so the eyeball would be popping out and then you open it and like the eyeball is actually like a little figure.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was incredible.
Mighty Max, so fucking great. I had several of those. And
I had the giant like mountain, the Mighty Max mountain too.
Oh, I didn't have that. Cool. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. My final one here could easily be a top 10, but it was, I'm older at this point in time, so I wasn't like playing as much. So they were more like collectibles to me, which was the Pokemon figures.
Right.
But they
I had a
had
lot
like
of,
the Pokeball that you could put him in.
the
and of course,
Burger
like,
King
Pokemon.
ones.
Yes, I had a whole bunch of those.
Fucking
Fucking
loser.
So I wasn't like playing. Why are you here? Go away, Donnie. No one
Go
likes
fuck
you.
yourself.
Yeah. So Pokemon is on here.
I gotta tell you, I gotta listen to a few minutes of this. I gotta tell you,
Can't even hear you. You're cutting out like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Don't even care.
I have to tell you, this shit sucked, and I can't believe you had to redo it.
Okay, shut up. We're not done yet. BG, good choices for for your honorable mentions. We mentioned a bunch of mine already. I'll just add a few more. Gargoyles. I loved that show as a kid. It was kind of like Batman the Animated Series esque, with kind of a gritty show, but the figures were very cool.
Yeah, real gritty.
Real
gritty cartoon.
Swamp Thing. I feel like nobody talks about that. Donnie has
I
swamp
never had
ass,
that.
but I'm talking about Swamp
True,
Thing.
that's true.
I think I had Swamp Ass. I don't know. Very hot.
It's hot out there.
Swamp Thing was just a very cool action figure line. I guess it was a comic book. I never read it, but I liked the toys. Crash Dummies were cool as fuck.
Crash Test Dummies, you mocked me for having them. When I
No,
picked it in our draft,
I
you mocked
celebrated
me.
You drafting that.
No, you
before.
didn't. You said I'm an
Celebrate.
idiot, and you said I'm a loser because that's the only toy I had as a kid.
That all stands, but Crash Dummies were cool because you could put them in the car and just fucking fire the car at the wall and it all explodes and you put it back
I never
together.
had that.
Did you guys have Connects?
And that's like the Lego kind of thing.
KNEX.
Yeah, wasn't it like a kind of Lego type of
Nah,
thing? You put
Lego's for losers.
snap it together.
Yeah, you snap it together and you have rubber band makes motors and you could like cars they could drive.
Oh, what's that?
I know what you're talking about. My friend
Yeah.
had this. I didn't have these.
Yeah.
They were for
No.
smart kids. You
But
didn't
I
have
did.
them.
Legos.
Smart kids.
Legos are cool. Legos are awesome.
Yeah.
If I
Uh,
thought her
Lincoln-
like
you guys
some,
have
she's
Lincoln
a
Logs?
dweeb.
I did not have Lincoln.
I had
Logs.
Lincoln Logs. I only had
I
toys
had-
from the 60s and 70s. That's
I had
legit-
some
legit
Legos.
true.
My
You
main
guys
thing I would do with
remember-
Legos is I would build a hockey rink with like nets, and then I would use my starting lineup hockey figures, and then I would take a Lego that was like the one piece as like my puck, and I would play with them as if it was like a real
Christ.
hockey game.
You know what I learned
Yeah,
from
that's
listening
called
to
innovation. That's
Can I
what
say,
smart
from the
kids-
bottom of my heart, you know what I learned
You
from
guys
listening to all this?
remember-
Real quick. You know what I learned from listening to this? Your parents didn't love you that much. They gave you toys to fill your time so they wouldn't have to deal with you. That's what I just fucking learned.
Oh, they gave it to
That's
me because
fine.
they loved me.
I got it. You know what my top 10 is? Experiences with my family because they love me. I hear nothing but stories about how your dad saved toys, how you got
There,
bacon
go-
for
go
Christmas
throw
and
a
shit
rock
like
in the
that. You're
fucking lake.
fucking losers, dude.
BG, a
skip
few
rock.
more honorable mentions.
Yep.
Do you remember blurp balls? They were kind of like mad balls from the 80s, but like you could shoot a projectile
Those are
out
like
of them.
fucking weapons.
Yes, they were very cool though.
I've made my
Double
balls
Dragon?
blurp a few times, you know what I'm saying?
Double Dragon had a cool figure line. They had like a cartoon at that time that was actually
Yes,
really
they
good.
did.
The Tick, also a cartoon, but they had a fun figure line, and I liked the Sega game. And then my last one, I think it's the one that I added, Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Do you remember this?
Say it again.
Cowboys
Of course
of
not.
Moo Mesa.
He's from Long Island, dude. He's got no fucking recollection.
Yes,
So-
I do, Mike.
It's very kind of like
Yes,
Ninja Turtles
I
esque.
do.
They're like anthropomorphic cows basically, and they were cowboys. And there was also an
I
arcade
remember
game of
this.
that is awesome.
I remember this.
Jesus Christ. Knock off.
That's all I got.
Did
Are we
you
done?
guys
Can we
get
go
the,
on? Can we talk
like
wrestling?
the little mini ninjas from like the quarter thing, the vending machines?
Yeah, I had a bunch of those. Yep.
I had so many of those. They were all different colors. Yeah.
We already talked wrestling, Don. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, go away. Show's done, man.
We should all
You
go
wanna end
away.
the show? You wanna cry?
Should we all go
outro?
away? We all go away?
Yeah. Sorry
Yeah,
you
let's
came
go.
back.